everybody. Welcome back to the next session of Coyote and Crow. I think we're on session 5 now, and we are in mid-story arc, basically, at this point, or like first peak, I'm not sure, but, we are still in the midst of a story. I may just kind of skip a very long recap and just let everybody know, please go check out our videos on YouTube, of which I need to upload the most recent one still. But we've got our YouTube on Geek Girl Con on YouTube if you want to kind of get the backlog story going, because at this point it's getting complex enough. I feel like that would take another 10 minutes just to be recapping.
Can't stop, won't stop with the story, man.
Yeah, for sure. I am Christina. I have fully forgotten to put our titles of our characters on our thing, so I'll work on that. But I am story guide, pronouns she or they. And yeah, I'll be kind of guiding everyone through it. And you go ahead and introduce yourselves while I add a little feature to our names.
All right, I'll go. I'm Tina. Pronouns are she, her, and I'm playing Masikan, shortened as Masi. And just as a reminder, I have a little fox friend. Her name is Ku, today played by Grogu behind me. And that's me.
And hello, my name is Emerald. Pronouns are she, her, and today I will be playing Nazizi, nickname Zizi, who is a tinkerer on the path of the crow in Coyote and Crow, and their pronouns are they, them.
Perfect. I think I've almost got it all set up so we can transition to that. There we go. Adding those. Aha! They now should be on there. Yeah, so we basically, to pick up kind of where we left off, you two had just been through the Remember engine, the Potagita's Remember engine, replaying certain events, and things spiraled out of control for a while, but you got it back under control with the help of Sokola and Awa. You managed to kind of return spirits back to their proper spirit side of our world or our universe. And you also gained a lot of information in the process of going through the Remember engine in terms of what information you need to know about the cult that's been causing harm to the plants and people of Cahokia, the land of Cahokia, and you know about all about what are the signs of a cult member. They have a specific tattoo, they have a specific greeting that they do to each other. There's a way now to tell them apart. I see a kitty here. I see you.
He wants to be a part of it.
Yeah. We need to get Zizi an animal companion too. Oh, you're on mute, Tina.
I know.
That might happen a lot today because I've got that little cough left over from a laryngitis, so I apologize. I was gonna say cat count 1.
Yeah. We're gonna have to start creating specific counters for specific pets at this point, so people have to increment the Briscoe counter.
Briscoe. Forget Briscoe emote. We need
There.
an
Who
emote.
comes to most streams.
Yes. Yeah, so basically we're gonna kind of, there's a period that happens just after this where you bring this information back to the council and to the director of intelligence, Nichak, and they take action on the information. But there's this period where you and other Suyata are going out, you're basically bringing people in, you're uprooting them from the places that they are all across Cahokia, because they are everywhere and they're in everything. There's a very deep dive that has to happen because they're more pervasive through the city than you even realize they could have been. It's always just been rumors that such a structure or such a cult even existed. And then, you've been finding out as you've been going through and going, it's oh, well, there's somebody in almost every part of our infrastructure. There's a cult member that's infiltrated. So there's been a lot of digging out of those people. While that's happening, so you two are being sent on Suyata missions during this. We're going to do a very quick downtime during that period, that 2 weeks period. While off cam, we have talked about your your progress, your character progress, and we kind of had a little meeting and talked about what Zizi and Mossy would want to see for their characters in terms of their development. So yeah, I guess we know. Do you each want to talk about what you chose, and then we'll kind of talk about the scenes that we might do for that?
Cool.
Cool. Yeah. Whoever wants to go first.
Emerald, you go.
Oh, I really want to go first. Okay, so we were talking about leveling up and choosing like the short-term and long-term goals. And so what ZZ's been doing this whole time is like trying to like impress Mossy by their like secretly like throwing knives around and being like, see, I can fight too, because they're kind of weak on the like fighting, but strong on the Mossy admiration. So basically, just anytime they have had a free moment, they're like throwing knives at only inanimate objects and trying to improve that as a skill. And in our last session, that work paid off, and they threw a knife, and it hit, and it was great. And Mossy saw, and it was a very exciting moment for ZZ because they were like, "Oh, look, all my hard work has paid off with this weapon." I don't really know a lot about weapons. I'm more about like crafting and like technology and science and discovery.
Yeah.
So now they have added a let's see, ranged weapon, I think is what we decided. Rank, which is exciting for them because they'll be able to kind of help more substantially in fighting type situations. But now they are working on crafting a cool knife holster. That's their one, since they like making stuff and inventing things. They're like, oh, I want to have like a cool knife, like a wristband, and it pops out or something. So that's what they're working on.
Nice.
And they have also recently talked Mossy into maybe helping them learn some unarmed combat training, which is very exciting for them, which I'm sure will just be like Mossy randomly attacking ZZ sometime.
Are you prepared?
Maybe when they're just feeling extra irritable, I don't know. And then, let's see, my long-term goal there is to get the Cougar's Grace agility. So just like practicing, I'm picturing ZZ like balancing on logs and trying to climb trees and flip out of them and being like, parkour, parkour.
Yes.
So that's what they're working on, which I think we decided would take about 3 more sessions.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Each of these is a session number based, and it depends on whether you like engage with that thing in some way during the session. So that's something to keep in mind.
I better jump out of a tree.
Mozzy's just trying to keep ZZ from like climbing all of
break any bones. Yeah.
It's like, stop it. Stop, get down here.
I'm not the best with like healing stuff, so like lay off of that craziness.
I'm like, I threw a knife up here, I gotta get it. Or like you're like encouraging me to like sometimes try to attack you out of the blue as part of the unarmed combat training. You're like, just try and hit me whenever you think I'm not paying attention. I'll always be able to block you. I'm Mossy. I'm great.
And she says it just like that.
I'll turn to you and I'll just be like, ah! And you'll be like,
holding your head.
Yeah.
We're not similar in height, but it's just your level of strength and skill.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Yes. So, I'm trying to decide if we do a short little. Does ZZ want to do any scenes? Is there anything you want to? Do you want to do a little scene with working on your daggers, or do you just want to kind of have narrated through that, or did you have anything specific you wanted to do before I?
Oh, I think that's good. These are all things that just ZZ I think is working on, like while they're walking around or in their spare time. Or so.
Sweet. Okay. Cool. In that case, then Mossy.
Okay, so I am proficient. I am a excellent use of bow and arrows, but I did not on the previous sessions. I was working on leveling up my war club, which we finally got it to be so I have a close quarters combat weapon that is at proficiency. I leveled up my, did we call it, was it charm or my
Yeah.
charisma?
Really,
I
that
think
was
is
just
what
like social skills.
yeah, I think I gave I got an extra point in charisma, I think is what it ended up being.
I think so.
And that was partly in thanks to ZZ, because I'm softening the hard shell that I would carry around is kind of slowly going away. So I'm a little less scary. I Ku leveled up, so she is now a level 3 companion, and I think that was it as far as the old stuff.
Okay.
Or like what I was working on previously. Is that correct? Was there anything else?
I believe that's correct. I
I think that was good.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
I would
Yeah, and I
say
think
to go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that I went up on my like body stat, like my physical stat, like was a lot of like
Yeah.
walking and training and fighting we were doing. That's some stat
Yeah.
that I went up.
I will say to ZZ's proficiency with knives is that she thinks I wasn't paying attention or didn't see her doing all of this training, but of course Mossy did. And Mossy would, when like ZZ was sleeping, take her knives and make sure they were clean and sharp and things like that. So now that it is out, that
Leave out like convenient targets.
yeah, now that it's out that ZZ's been working on this and doing this as part of our combat training, I'll be teaching her more about how to take care of those knives, since I was really doing it. But I didn't tell her that, of course. She still has no idea. She thinks that knives just stay sharp by themselves.
So you have to do like the slow letdown of letting her find out, or letting them find out that their knives that their knives are start to get less good. And they're like,
just so you know, maybe we should sharpen these.
They're like, I thought they just
thought it was
did
by
it.
magic. Like,
Yeah.
My
okay,
knives I must be so good with knives.
yeah.
So
Okay.
good they clean themselves.
My new goals, so I'm looking to increase performance. My performance, which again, adding to that, lessening of the shell, I am very good at music naturally, but I've kind of shut that off, that part, that emotional, that musical connection, because of my partner's death and all of that. That was like a part of my life that I let go. But in twofold, in part of increasing and wanting to, all of my goals connect. So I have a long-term goal of decreasing my burden, which is part of the story, the gameplay. The burden that I had was that I wanted to be alone. So I'm letting that go. I'm bringing more people in to my circle. ZZ, of course, is one. Yeah. I'm also interested in those spirit drums that Sokola had. So that is a short-term goal, is building my own set of spirit drums, because I have things that can fight people, and I have special arrows that can fight spirits, but I don't really have any other kind of spirit fighting thing. So when that happened, I was like, woo, what is this, and how do I get my hands on these?
Yes.
So as part of that, I'm also lessening the wall on my performance and going to be working on increasing that. So she's not going to turn into like soft squishy butter by any means, but my goal is to be more open to a little bit softer, if that makes sense.
that definitely makes sense. And you're just slowly trying to get out of that shell a little bit more, and allow yourself that vulnerability. That's great. I love it. So yeah, we'll do a very quick kind of scene where you seek out Sokla because you get the word from Patagita. Like you don't immediately track her down, but you go to Patagita and you're like, where do I find Sokla? And he's like, well, I only really know she's out in like she goes to the market on this day of the week, and like you could probably find her at the market, like and it tells you a specific market where she goes. And so, yeah, you show up during this couple of 2 weeks and you go to the market and you're kind of looking everywhere for her. And then you spot her from behind and you see like the long black hair, and you see like her outfit and kind of the bands that she wears on her arms. And you see you actually see the drums tied very tightly and securely on the back of her belt. She's laden down with all these groceries and stuff, and you haven't seen her face yet. As you start to like approach, this little kid comes running up and runs towards Sokola, and she's kind of busy doing this thing, and this little kid runs up and reaches into the bag, that's one of her bags, and pulls the mask out and goes, "Mom, look!" and puts the mask on, and then says, "I'm an eel! I'm an eel! I've got a mask! I'm an eel!" and and she whips her head around and looks and sees, like, her eyes are warm at first when she hears her kids say, "Mom, look," and then she turns and a total alarm goes over her face as she realizes the kid has like surfaced the eel mask, which is like her other identity. And like she's like, "No." And she just like, kind of drops a bag of potatoes and just starts and she makes eye contact with you. Like she sees you at this moment. So the kid starts to run and she's like, "Come back." Do you do anything? The kid is running kind of in your direction.
Yeah, I totally take in what just happened, because of course Mossy would understand that moment would be panic inducing for her as well. But I don't acknowledge it, and I just pick up the grocery and like I say, "Here, let me take some more of your bags, go get her." So I'm like basically deburdening her a little bit so she can go after her daughter and get the mask back, because that's important.
Incredible. Okay, yeah, she pauses and she's still in that freeze frame like deer, and then she like kind of a lot of emotions process on her face very quickly, because she's like, "Oh, you've seen my identity, you know who I am, but you're helping me, that's good, and I gotta go get my kid." So she's like, "Thank you." And then she's just like, I'm trying to remember. I gave her kid a name. Hayana, come back! And she takes off and chases her kid, and the kid's still just giggling and wearing the mask, and like, "The Choosy is gonna catch me! The Choosy's gonna..." Like the kid has like picked up some of this language, and the mom's like, Don't say that! Don't say that!" So Co's like, don't call her that. And she like drags her back by the arm. And like, gently, not like she's not yanking her, but she's, firmly guiding her back, and puts grabs the mask and tucks it back away. And she's talking to her quietly, like, you can't do that. You know your mom could get in a lot of trouble if you do this. Okay? I know it's fun and you can play with it at home, but you can't do it out here. And so she's like talking to her quietly, and they make her approach. And then as she gets close to you again, the little girl kind of gets more shy and like starts to kind of look at you and gets quiet and just kind of looks up at you from her mom's side. And Sokla says, It's okay. She's a friend." And she kind of like looks at you like, "Is that okay?"
Yeah, I do a little whistle, and Ku runs up and just starts to play with the little girl.
Oh, yes, yeah. She totally forgets being nervous about you. Fully is like, "Foxy!" and like jumps down and like, starts playing like a little hopscotch game with Ku. They're just jumping over each other. Sokla like takes back the groceries from you, and she looks and she says, "Well, I guess you've seen me now."
Yes, and your secret is safe with me. Your business is not my business. I am seeking you out because I'm interested in learning how to use spirit drums, and I was hoping that you might Teach me.
She nods and she thinks, her face, she looks relieved. She looks relieved and happy that it doesn't seem like, you're, but she does, she says, she thinks for a second and she says, I feel like you could make me. You could threaten me. You've seen who I am. You could just make me do it.
I could, but that's who you think I am. That's not who I am.
She nods and she gets a little bit of a smile and she's like, okay, in that case, yes, I can help you. I would be happy to help you. All I ask is, I would like a little bit of trust both ways. I would prefer you come meet me and that I show you how to use these and that we talk about their use and we kind of go over this together before I give you a full set or teach you how to make a full set of your own, like to work together. Would that be okay with you?
Yes, it would be okay. Is your partner going to be okay with you being gone teaching me?
Oh.
She kind of looks down and she smiles a little bit and she's like, there's no partner. It's just me. Not anymore.
Okay.
So she's just kind of like, then she kind of turns a little red and then she changes the subject very quickly. She's like, anyway, I'll give you the location of where a little workshop that we can borrow. And yeah, I will gladly teach you. I just ask that you please don't let anyone know about me and, my identity or about the location that I show you. It could compromise a lot more than just me. And she looks down at Hayona, who's playing with Ku.
Of course. I would never want to put you or her in any compromising position. Is it okay if Ku comes with us?
Oh, please. What will keep Hayona busy if you don't bring Ku?
Wonderful.
Cool.
If you must know, Zizi might show up as well. Even if she's not invited. If she's invited, she'll for sure show up, but still probably pretend like she's not invited.
Yes, they would be welcome as well. I know that they are mostly, I've noticed that they have taken a shine to you and they will, it's okay if they come.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like actually in the market right now,
Yeah.
spying on both of you.
Yeah,
Like,
I look over my
behind, like,
shoulder and kind of like shake my head.
Bored.
Totally.
In another universe, in another game, we would have to have boundary discussions, but in this game, it's all good. No,
Wonderful.
yeah,
Thank you.
I think Sokla like succeeds at a perception check and just kind of waves at ZZ over.
I would say Mossy right now is like totally awkward. She doesn't know how to end the conversation or anything. She did ask the question that has been burning in her mind for 2 weeks. Not about the drums. And
The partner
now
question.
yeah. And now she's just like, like trying to be casual but looking angry anyway, like yeah.
I think Sokla, kind of like looks at you and maybe she's like, do you have any shopping you need to do while you're here? Do you want to shop with us?
I can help you with your burdens.
She's just, oh, thank you. And she kind of like hands a heavy bag of potatoes to you and like another bag and then like another bag of groceries. And then she like takes Hoyona's hand and yeah, I would say that, you kind of go through the market together and that you do a little shopping with them and it's really cute. And Hoyona starts to ask you a bunch of questions and I would say that, we could probably say you finish out that day in a nice note and she gives you the location and kind of maybe she even walks you by the district where her shop is and kind of points it out. And it's really sweet. And she kind of gives you like, she says, I look forward to our session together. I think it'll be fun.
Me too. And I just pat her daughter on the head and whistle coo and just walk away. And I'm
You're just
totally,
like out. I
panicked,
love that.
leaving. I'm out. I haven't done this in a very long time, and I don't even know if I want to do it. It's like a question that came out of my mouth, even though I was thinking about it. I didn't want to say it. Like that kind of like.
Yeah. Perfect. I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it goes well. So yeah, I think that's great. So yeah, now you have a planned date for when, you've got some stuff coming up, but yeah, you have a planned date with her, not an official date, but
I was like, don't call it a date.
Not a date.
Like, ah!
I don't think either of you calls it a date. I don't think it's anything like that. You have a planned
It's an
Training
appointment.
session.
meeting
Training
session. Training session.
I'm bringing knives.
You just come with knives in your hands, like, it's like it's like the equivalent of people who are like, I'm just not gonna shave my legs before the date, just so nothing can happen or something. It's just, but you just with you, it's just knives. You're like, I have knives, so
bring
nothing can
knives.
happen.
Thank
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I think at that point that's kind of like maybe your session is planned for after the events of what we're gonna do here today, and that we'll kind of get to that in the future. So yeah, we next go to, you have a meeting. The two of you have a meeting with Nichak, and Nichak has called you in and wants to give you an update on everything that's happened and kind of where the status of things are and what you two will be doing next, and give you next assignment. So. You come into Director of Intelligence's office in the council's district, which I have forgotten all of the names of. There are names, but I don't remember what any of the district names are. But yeah, they bring you in, and now I'm over here like, what district is that? The Matawi district. And yeah, so you go in and they're there. When you get in there, there's another person there with them, and there's a man there, and he's an older man. He's like late 50s, early 60s looking. He's got, long black hair with braids, and he's got, blue and white beads in his hair, and he has kind of an easygoing smile. He looks friendly. He's just kind of leaning against something, arms kind of gently crossed and listening. So Nichak doesn't immediately introduce you, and first is just like, basically just acknowledges this is another Suyata. I will introduce you in just a moment once I explain what your mission is coming up and once I catch you up on everything. They say that they talk about the citywide bust that's kind of happened. You two know about that. You've already been there for some of that. He says the power players in the cult are still missing, and we get the sense that they had a plan for if they were busted. They had a plan to evacuate and escape with some of the more powerful members of the cult. I think they just packed up operations. There's lab equipment missing. The materials for their bioweapon are missing. We don't have some of the most important stuff. So right now what we're looking at is that there are maybe still people in the city that might be undercover that don't have the tattoo or have covered the tattoo. There might still be people out there. There's a little bit of uncertainty, and our infrastructure is definitely weakened knowing that these people are in it. The biggest problem is that the information that we've gathered when investigating and talking to the members of the cult that we've taken into custody is that the original plan had been to create distrust and undermine the Adenati, trying to get people in the population to see it as dangerous. Having done what they've done and now being outed, we think there's a risk that they might take more drastic action in the future, and that they may make more direct attacks once they marshal themselves and their troops, essentially. Our priority, above and beyond just finding Zuva and Tazgazi, which are the names of Gatz's sister and mother, respectively, the ones who are leading the cult as far as you all know. Finding Zuva and Tagazi, that is a second priority, because our primary priority is protecting our city and our people against them using this bioweapon. So our interest right now, we've done a little research and we've already sent out some investigative teams, and we've found a potential chance to protect our crops and our people. There are some people whose crops survived these sprays better than others. People who, their crops have been, a lot of crops have been attacked. They'd have been sprayed with this bioweapon that altered their DNA, mutated them in dangerous negative ways. But there were a few people who had crops that did not, and we sent an investigation into this, and what we found was that they are from a specific tribe outside in the Freelands who cultivates a particular kind of fungus, and they used this mushroom that in their sprays. They use it to, they didn't know they were protecting their crops in any way. They thought they just use it to enhance their crops and make them more abundant, and they just thrive and are healthier than other ones. They were using it as like a compound in their sprays. And so we think that there's potential that we can not only use that and spray our crops to protect our crops further, we can also potentially, if we can get enough of this mushroom, we can use it and synthesize it in a way that we could also protect the humans in case they evolve the bioweapon further to attack our human population. We need to retrieve some of that mushroom, but it is a sacred mushroom to this tribe, and they live outside the city. So that is the issue, is that we need to recover this, and we need to ask them for permission to use it to protect our people, but we will not take it, given that it is, important to their tribe. So it would be only with their absolute agreement and consent to share it. This is where, Nichok just does a big long spiel at this point, but this is like kind of, he's wrapping it up here. He says, and this person with me here, this Suyata, is Sayok, and Sayok is one of our most prolific Suyata. He is well known as a diplomat and an ambassador, and on top of that, he is originally from the tribe that you will be going to talk to, and we hope you will go with him. He will be doing the negotiating and the talking, but we would like you to, since you're so deeply involved with this and you know so much, as well as just your particular skill sets, I think you would be good protection and accompaniment for him. So Sayok, also steps forward, and he smiles at you both, and he's like, "Hey, pleasure to meet you. I am from the tribe of Vigil Peak. We are the Vigil Keepers. It's been a long time since I was there living on the mountain with the others, but I've been traveling the world and doing diplomacy missions for quite some time, and before that I was a bit of a wanderer. So I had a few adventures in my time. I don't think we'll run into any problems together. Pleasure to meet you."
I sorry, Mossy chuckles a little bit because she knows that ZZ just brings trouble wherever they go. So just you wait.
Can't foresee any problems any of us would run into. You two seem very competent.
It's gonna happen. I mean, ZZ spaced out for at least half of Nichok's speech, and
no idea what's
it's
going
already it's already interested in Sayok's braiding style. They're like, "Oh, that looks really cool. Maybe I should do my hair like that."
Sayok sees you just leaning towards his hair, and he kind of pulls it forward, and he's very cooperative. He's like, "Oh yeah, we use a particular kind of weave we do," and he undoes one and starts showing ZZ how to do the braid.
That's cool. And I'm like, "Oh, I wonder if I could use that in my knife holster somehow, like a braided detail, or
and those two start talking.
I'm like, "Could I braid a knife into my hair, do you think?"
Yeah,
And
you
Sayok's
swing
probably
your braid.
"Seems a little dangerous." Probably.
I tried that once when I was in my youth. I found that I did get a few cuts on my shoulders. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I could recommend it.
I'm tough. I can take it.
Yeah,
Right,
Oh, did you ask Mossy? You're like, right, Mossy? Uh,
Yeah, I know of Sayak,
okay.
but I've never met them. I mean, if they're older and all of these things. And
Yeah.
as a wanderer, I think that as a scout, that would have been somebody whose like locations I would have already gone to or been to or helped people get to, things like that.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
I can't remember if there's a traditional greeting for the Suyata, but I do it, whatever it is. Forearm clasping or
Sure, we'll
I don't know,
say, yeah,
whatever
let's
it
say
is.
that. Let's say there's
Whatever
like
it
a
is, I
forearm
do
clasp.
it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Respectfully, instead of pulling apart their hair, I'm
He seems
being
to
a little bit
Greetings,
more formal,
whatever.
of course.
he seems like he's very willing to just kind of go with the flow with either person. He gets along with you just as well. He does the forearm clasp and he's like, "Pleasure to meet you. I've heard good things." He seems to just be really just happy to be here. You have probably heard of him, and it's possible ZZ has too. I don't know how much ZZ kind of listens to gossip about other Suyata, but he does have like the notoriety of having been doing this for a number of years and having gone on some important missions on behalf of Cahokia, and like, occasionally stories float through the network where you hear about him. Nobody, of course, really knew what he looked like necessarily, but like because a lot of the Suyata don't know each other. Just for protection of their missions and stuff. But yeah, you definitely heard about him. I think that makes
I feel like
sense.
ZZ would have heard of him too. Like
Cool.
they're like always like interested in people going out and doing things and making a name for themselves, and probably like ZZ's like illustrious, wealthy jerk family like wanted Sayok to like come to their like house and like, you know, as a status symbol, like, oh yes, come to our party, this famous like. And then he like was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there were a couple parties you were at when you were still hanging with your family where like they made a huge deal out of Sayak coming, and then a lot of excuses when he didn't show up. They were very much like, oh, well, he got pulled into a very important mission, but he definitely
Yeah.
was going to be here.
Yeah, he told us that he really wanted to be here.
yeah, they totally lied, and
Right.
you knew better by then.
And I'm like, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think you ever really expected you were going to actually see him. Cool. So, yeah, Nichak kind of... I'm going to do a little check on chat real quick, see what we've got. Anybody say hi? Okay, do the jump. Accidentally cut down
everything's good.
7 trees with my knife head. It was the darndest thing. Yes, ZZ would definitely have heard about anybody known to run around with knife head. That's actually where ZZ got the idea. It's like, I heard about somebody who did this once. Had knives on their braids. It was cool. He's like, that's me!
You could just do a really big spin, and like all the knives would fly off and hit your enemies. That's what
That's
ZZ
how you lose an eye.
Yes.
so you know.
Yes. Oh, hi, Pathan Planet. We've got a first-time chatter. Welcome. So Nichak kind of gives you that information, and then kind of says like, that he's going to let Sayak kind of take it from here in terms of catching up on a little bit more of the information about the tribe and everything as you go. The two of them let you know you're going to need to you want to make good time, and you're going to need to take a Sunwing. You're going to need to fly a Sunwing over south, and yeah, ZZ, you have a piloting
Sunwing?
ability. Yeah.
Oh, I love Sunwings.
Yes.
I've only crashed 3 times.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say, Mossy, you are putting your life and Koo's life and Saxan's and ZZ's.
It was
Or
a long
in ZZ's.
time ago. Okay, now I have like, rank in it, so it's fine.
That was the process of getting the rank. So you make your way over to kind of the area where like the hangar where the Sunwings are, the councils, they have their own stock that they kind of let the Suyata use, and that is kind of in a like somewhat hidden location. And you go and you kind of start packing up and getting your things, packed into there. Is there anything you want to bring with you, or do you want to ask, Sayak questions first, or hear what he has to say first, or? What do you
Sure, like Sayok, what do you think I should bring? Should I bring this? Should I bring this? Which knives should I bring?
Which knives should I bring specifically? Okay, so yeah, so
He lays them all out from
They all
every
like
single pocket,
unroll.
or they may
Yeah, I'm like just like taking
every-
them out. I'm like, this one's name is Shelby, and this one is.
he greets each knife very formally, and he's like, wonderful to meet you.
Zizi
son."
loves that. Zizi's like obsessed. Like,
Yeah, he just seems always amused. He's just happy to go along, and he seems like he thinks everything is a fun. He's kind of got that in common with ZZ, I think, where everything's kind of an adventure, kind of a fun. He's curious about stuff. He wants to know people. He wants to know what their deal is. He likes people being different, and interesting. Yeah, so he says, yeah, I can tell you more about it. Let me tell you a little bit about the situation so you have a better understanding. And so, as you are all packing like the basics in, kind of just, he's telling you about stuff. So he tells you, about his tribe. They are located at Vigil Peak, which is south of, it's basically south of the, mountainous area. It's like there's a mountain on the other side where there's more plains and prairie land. There's kind of it's a mountain that's sort of kind of out of place in the middle of the plains. And he says that his, tribe had been there. They're a small tribe. They're not one of the larger groups of people that wander the Freelands or that are part of the Freelands. They kind of are their own self-contained thing. They are called the Vigil Keepers, and the story there for that is that they basically they do have ongoing vigils vigil ceremonies that they're doing because basically they are trying to honor a goddess, a goddess of the sky that they kind of respect and believe in, and they see it as their duty to kind of maintain a vigil because this goddess has been long mourning her child going away. Her child went and traveled away and never came back, and she doesn't know what happened to her child. And so there's this story. This is all through stories, right? This is like the history of the land. They know this is not a goddess that is like, sitting there on the mountain, although there are gods in this world that do. But she's just this is more of legends of like, this is the goddess. The goddess is mourning. We are keeping a vigil for her child, and keeping the vigil for her keeps her content, or it helps comfort her. We're comforting and soothing the goddess by keeping the vigil. And so he tells you a little bit about that, and he kind of says, it wasn't really for me. I left when I was pretty young, still late teens. You can probably tell by the kind of person I am. I'm not exactly the type of person who's got the gift. I don't have the gift that some of my tribe members have to feel the goddess's grief and to channel it. I was never a man with very deep emotions, deep emotional well, but I do well in other places. But it's clearly, he chose to go a different way, and they let him go that way. They didn't, nobody tried to stop him. A lot of times, just to keep their population, because it's limited, the mountain is kind of the size that it is, they actually encourage some of their youth to go out and explore the world and, see other things and come back if they feel like this is the right path for them. So he tells you a little bit about that. There's the weather's been changing, and the mushroom, he tells you, it grows at the peak of the mountain, and they harvest it and they cultivate it there, and they kind of create a good environment for it and are kind of like shepherds of it. And these rituals that they do ceremonies semi-regularly when there's really big storms. When these big storms come, they do a big ceremony, and that is the sky goddess's tears, is what they call it. There's the tears of the sky are these mushrooms, and these well up from these places across the top of the mountain. So he kind of explains that. Can I get mod on the chat? Do we have a mod? I'm not sure if we do. Well, do either of you have modding powers? I don't think I can mod from where I am. Okay. Apologies. So he kind of lets you know about this, and there is, storms on the horizon. Thank you. There's storms on the horizon, and there's a big one rolling in pretty soon, and so this is a good time to go and talk to them because they'll soon have an abundance of the mushroom, and it's more likely that they'll have some that they can share. So he kind of lets you know that's kind of the situation. He also lets you know that you won't be able to land directly on the top of the mountain because the mushrooms are sensitive to the Yutsu technology that's used in the Sunwing, so you have to land near the base and work your way up the mountain to get to the top. So that's kind of what he tells you. And so with that information, in terms of what do you want to bring, he's, the things for the mountain navigation, things, if you want to bring any kind of offerings or anything to, any kind of something like that. Does that make sense?
That was going to be my question, is if Nidhogg gave us any kind of offering or a gift,
Like a
for the
gift.
tribe, in exchange for the request.
Let's say I'm going to have you make an early ceremony check. Can you both make ceremony checks? This will be kind of, if you get to see if it's kind of a gauge of how well you understand kind of what they could use in their ceremony, what they could use as a tribe. And if you think of if you'd like to try another scale, you can use another scale if you think one makes more sense for this, but yeah, it's just kind of get a sense of what would be valuable or useful for them.
Here's the sort. Okay. I roll 7 for ceremony, so I got 3, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 12.
8, 9, 12. Okay, so you got a couple successes in there, and the 12's a crit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that one's a 10.
Okay.
And I don't have any ceremony
Okay.
points at all.
Oh, okay.
whatsoever.
So you can't roll any dice.
So I can't roll any dice.
Okay, well, luckily, ZZ's got this on lock. Yeah.
I know all about this.
Yeah, in the process of ZZ pulling things out and being like, should I bring this? Should I bring this? ZZ does actually hit upon a couple things that make sense, and ZZ's like, ooh, what about, tobacco, to share, because they're, it helps with the, soil and stuff like that, because it's got, the nitrogen. Sayok's like, yeah, that would be great, actually. I think anything that would be beneficial to the plants and to the mushrooms, anything like that would be fantastic. They would really appreciate that. And I think if you want to bring anything like gifts of things that they can't usually get, they don't do a lot of trade. If there's any cool gadgets or gizmos from your collection that you want to bring, that they might have fun with, something for recreation. I mean, there are people, even though they do these grieving vigils, they love to have fun. They don't, they're not one-dimensional. They do these rituals for the goddess and the ceremonies for the goddess, but they love any kind of opportunities to try something new. So he kind of gives you that idea, things for the plants and maybe things for the people that would be entertaining for them or new or novel.
I think ZZ's got a number of things in their bandolier fanny pack of in process gadgetry that they're oh, maybe they might enjoy this cool fidget spinner that I have, or
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Or they've been I don't know, playing with knives, so they're oh, I figured out a way to put these 2 knives together, and it really helps cutting up mushrooms if you want to eat them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he also let you two know that those mushrooms get used for a lot of different purposes. They use them, they are edible, so they kind of use them to supplement their food. It's not their primary food source, but they use it to supplement. It also has obviously some medicinal purposes that they use it for. So it's kind of a multifunctional mushroom. They didn't even know that it had this kind of I don't know what you want to call it, antibiotic kind of effect. That's new to them. So he's excited to tell them about that. So yeah, let's say you pack that. You pack that stuff up. You pack some tobacco. You pack some cool gadgets. You get everything ready to go. And I think, unless you have anything else you want to do, we kind of start off on and the Sunwing.
Mossy does not have anything that she can bring like Zizi does, but she does pack her. I don't remember if I ever talked about what instrument she had, but let's say it's a string instrument that she can play. And she'll play us an entertaining song for them when she gets there.
Oh yeah, that's great. I love that. Yeah, I think that would be really good.
Mossy has a whistle also that they bring.
Man, it's gonna be great.
Wait, Zizi has a whistle? Or
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, sorry, Zizi.
I like to imagine Zizi slipped the whistle into Mossy's stuff with the packed it with it. It's like when a cat puts like their toy in your luggage. Zizi's just like packing stuff into Mossy's bag.
I'm like, I'm bringing too many knives. She could carry my whistle. She'll never notice. She's a light packer. So.
That does seem consistent. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a zither.
I know. I didn't even know what it was, but it seems like it would work because it could be small too. So it's not like something that's huge, but it will at least play tunes and, I don't know that Mossy's ready to sing, but she might hum along with the song while that's happening.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So yeah, you get everything packed up in the Sunwing. It's a fairly roomy one. It's got enough room for the three of you and your stuff, but it's still, Sunwings in general are kind of still a little compact. There's not huge airliner style ships or anything like that. In
How's
this
Ku
world.
do with air travel?
Oh yeah, what do you think? How would Ku be with that?
Ku, unfortunately, was part of the crashes that when Zizi was practicing.
Oh no!
Two of them.
She's not happy. But
yeah, you have to give her a little fox nip, like I don't know, like a little plant.
A little fox nip, something that we got from Nachu to keep her calm while we're flying.
You gotta hold her in like a little backpack or something.
Yeah, she's in this like little sling purse that I only have when we travel by Sunwing, I guess. So
that makes sense. Got that thunder shirt effect. It kind of compresses her.
And that one time that she got injured and you had to carry her around for a while, and I was not involved in that at all.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But it was right after that Sunwing crash.
You hear a tiny little whimper come out of the slings.
I mean, yeah, she's not terrified, but it's just not her favorite thing at all.
Yeah, just a little bit of a like, oh no.
She's resilient.
Yeah.
She's level 3 now. She can handle it.
She forgave me. So.
Perfect. Yeah, she's gotten over it. She's getting over
out
it.
And glares at Zizi a little bit, and then kind of goes back in the bag.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, a little ear, pet.
Aw. Yeah, Ku accepts that. That makes sense. Yeah, Ku's like, okay, if you say so. There's another thing that well, you know what? I'll get to that in a second. So let's do the flying. Like, let's say, so as you're going, I would say we know that the big storm is kind of coming to the mountain, but it's not here yet. But we do start to see, like, the wind is kind of picking up. So you're kind of getting some turbulence on your way in. So let's make let's make a piloting check, Zizi, for while you're in transit, basically. And I would say because of the slightly difficult conditions, we'll raise the difficulty number a little bit to 9 at this point. So go ahead and give me a roll for that.
Got 2 successes.
Okay, so yeah, you know, it kind of bumps and like you kind of do a little bit of a side wiggle, but I think everybody braces themselves, and Ku is like, but then, you know, you ride it, you get it back on track, you kind of ride over one and get a little bit of a roller coaster effect over some wind, and then you settle back in.
And Zizi's just like, wee!
Yeah. Zizi's having a great time. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you pass that. I'm gonna say, yeah, it starts to get a little bit more. You get some more rain. You get a little bit more wind coming in. So you get, it takes a while. Sun wings can go up to like 10,000 feet. So you kind of go over some of the mountain range that's to the south of Cahokia, and you kind of go over that and go around some of the taller mountains a little bit and kind of take that way. But yeah, as you start to, it's kind of there's a break here and there in the rain, and sometimes the sun's still peeking through, but there's definitely like increasing clouds and rain. So now you see this big colorful mountain in the distance, and it's really quite striking. It really stands out from the plains around it. You see the plains, like tall grasses and kind of shrubby plants and things like that, and a lot of level ground, and then kind of out there, picturesquely is this, it's sort of like it's much more gradual sloping mountain that's kind of it's more rounded and kind of pleasant against the horizon, and it's very different, like a lot of different colors. You can kind of see it's tall, and you're not going to bring your sunwing up there because of what they warned you about, but you can see the blue of some of the mushrooms on the top, and below you can kind of see other colors that you wouldn't expect. Like it's not greens like you would see if you were approaching another mountain, or like there's other colors like pinks and reds and yellows that are kind of covering the mountain. You don't quite see what's going on there, but it's like the trees. So yeah, you let's make a piloting check for landing though, because the wind is picking up more and the rain is starting to come down. It's a little obscured. There's a kind of a haziness in the air as you're like closing in. So another piloting check. Let's say a DC 10 for that, because it's getting challenging.
My God.
Or success number 10. I don't know. DC is D&D, but
4, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Whew, okay. Nice. You still managed to land the success. ZZ has been practicing. Yeah, you don't take any damage.
I can't hurt Koo anymore, like
yeah.
she's just so precious. So
yeah, you're very careful on the landing. Yeah, you like gently glide in. Yeah, you kind of find a little area, you tuck it underneath like some trees that are kind of on the outskirts of the mountain, and then you kind of park kind of in a place where Sayak kind of points to, and he's like, that's a good location, I think. Yeah, and you land down there, and you start to, you unpack your things, and you kind of start to make your approach into the mountain and into the woods of the mountain. Here we go. Yeah, as you're doing so, like, there's that brief break in the rain, again, it passes, and there's a moment of, like, kind of blue sky or dark blue sky, but you can kind of, and you see like a pretty rainbow as the weather shifts. But in the background, the other direction, you see the black clouds, just a wall of those black clouds coming in. So you're kind of starting to make your way up the mountain, knowing that this is incoming. The ground's a little slick as you're going up. Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about what you're kind of seeing as you enter this area. Yeah, this is a place that looks different than anything you've seen in Moccasin so far. It really is like you've probably heard about this mountain, right? Like you didn't know everything about it, but you've heard tell, or maybe you've seen it from a distance. It's just these trees are almost like a petrified coral looking kind of texture to the trees, and everything about the ecosystem is very unique. Everything on the mountain is a unique ecosystem, which Sayak had given you a little info on, but the surface of those trees, you can see that pitted surface, but you also see just lichens and mosses on everything, all this color that you saw from a distance that you thought were just like leaves. It's all these different lichens and mosses covering the surfaces of everything, and these really unique kind of ground cover plants and stuff like that. So it's a very different thing. And instead of like a normal leaf structure, lots of branches and lots of leaves, there's like more like funnely leaves that kind of catch water and kind of funnel it down the trees, and it's just a very different environment.
Wow, ZZ is like in heaven. They're like kind of running around very very cautiously and like trying to inspect and like touching things and like trying to like feel the springiness of the moss and like look at the structure of the funnel leaves and they're like, oh, having a bunch of like creative ideas about look at all
Yes.
these cool resources and I wonder how I could like replicate this or use this or they're very respectful of the nature, so they're not like taking anything or breaking anything or peeling anything off, but they're very like respectfully being like, "Oh, tree, I honor your spirit and I want to touch your bark."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're feeling like the smoothness and like the pitted surfaces and kind of gently touching the mosses, and they're kind of spongy in places, and some of them are like like soft tendrils, and there's all kinds of like different textures and colors all around you. You also see a lot of life happening around you. Lots of birds and lots of just a lot of the plains animals have kind of what it looks like to you is that it's the plains animals that have adapted to life on this mountain in some ways. So you see you see things like there are elk. You see a couple elk go by, and they've got like a more leathery kind of hide that's kind of like protects them a little bit better. You've got like these, you see these like, and Ku goes kind of like gets interested. You see these little foxes that are like, but they look different than regular foxes. They're very narrow bodied and they have like longer, narrower bodies because there's all these rock outcroppings everywhere, and they dive in and squeeze in. They like their narrow faces and narrow bodies. They squeeze in between rocks and then run away. And so there's all kinds of little animals that you see. You also notice that there's and Sayok tells you about this. He points this out and he's like, yeah, you see these grooves here. These are all over the mountain. There's these deep channels that you see that are kind of semi-regular, crisscrossing. Some of them are streams, some of them are empty, but some of them have some of them actually have water like flowing downhill, and it's obvious that the water gathers in those channels and kind of goes down the sides of the mountain. So yeah, the first step to do here is just the one thing you don't see as you look at this beautiful environment is a distinct path. They don't get a lot of visitors here, and they don't really have any traffic up and down the mountain other than just themselves going up and down, and so they pick their way through. Sayok hasn't been here 30, 40 years, maybe. I mean, it's been a long time since he's come back. And so he too is confused. And something he also tells you is he says, well, we get little earthquakes here on the mountain, little shakes. It's never been anything big, but the environment changes. Huh?
I don't like volcanoes. Okay.
There's no evidence.
I say in the shadow of Mount Rainier.
I know, right? Yeah, right. We live in the shadow of Mount Rainier here. Oh, I'm gonna also, while I'm thinking of it, this is a really random thing, but just thinking about that, I am going to put in our land acknowledgement. I try to usually pop that in there in the chat. So I've put the land acknowledgement in chat. And yeah, you see, you don't see evidence necessarily of volcanic activity, but it definitely does have the minor volcanoes that, we associate with that, I guess. So he just says but that's been happening for as long as they can remember. There hasn't been an increase necessarily. There's just always been minor tremors that have happened here. And what happens is what that means is the terrain changes sometimes because the trees, like these big, kind of hard corally type trees will fall and knock things over, and the rocks will shift. And so it's a little bit treacherous at times, depending. And, but it also means that the terrain has changed a lot since he's been here. There just isn't a way. So the first challenge will be navigation.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I think that ZZ has pretty good like survival and tracking skills.
Okay.
Because they're always like getting into trouble, wandering the forest, and they always find their way back, mostly uninjured. So can ZZ like roll for like tracking and try to see if they can like root out like the path to the village by climbing a tree or something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you want to climb a tree and kind of get a better look up on the. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, let's. I'm trying to think if that might be more in the survival skill, I would say.
Yeah.
And does Mossy want to try anything to try to navigate or look for a way to get up better? Oop, muted. Muted.
Mossy is a pathfinder, so this is
That was
her
literally
area
their
of
jam.
literally her area of expertise.
Heck yeah.
Plus she has those
Zizi's already
cybernetic-
up a tree, but you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say plus she has those cybernetic eyes, but as part of the relationship building, she's letting ZZ instead of just shutting them down on this kind of activity, like, so Mossy will wait
Okay.
to see what happens with ZZ's attempt.
I think that's good.
Mossy
Yeah.
probably already knows where to go.
Yeah,
and
she's
they're just
already-
like,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
"I know that it's
Probably.
that way.
Probably. We'll see how I roll.
Yeah. We'll let ZZ do a roll first on this, and then Mossy can basically double check her work and be like, okay, let me tell you what I do here, and then like kind of.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Teach.
It would be really
And,
funny
like,
if
I
you
think-
both failed the roll. And Mossy's like, yeah, that looks great, and it's like, no, it's terrible.
Not
And we're
even
just
it.
like, yes, we've come to a consensus that we're going in the wrong direction.
I will say that this success number is going to be a little bit higher because this is such an unfamiliar kind of terrain. So it will be a 9 because usually it would be an 8. So a little unfamiliar. So yeah, go ahead and give me a
So-
survival.
So I grate the tree and I ask Sayak for a boost up, and I roll my survival, looking around, like I think it's that way. I got a 10. I got 110.
Okay, 110. All right, that was a close one. ZZ, yeah, I would say with one success, I would say ZZ gets a basic lay of the land. Like ZZ is able to put together like, oh, well, this mountain's very consistent in shape, right? It's a very like, it's a dome kind of shape of a mountain. So like, it's, there's a certain amount of just, as long as you're going uphill, like you're going the right way, because it will come to that plateau where you saw the blue from the sky, the blue coating on the top of the mountain, and where you saw like the signs of their settlement and their buildings and stuff up there. So you kind of have that sense. You also have the sense of like you can see there are some areas that look extremely difficult to navigate through, and you're able to kind of roll those out. So yeah, you come down and you tell Mossy what you found. what does Mossy
I'm
think?
getting-
Don't want to go
I'm getting ready
that way.
for my. I'm getting ready
There's a
for my
big
roll to see how
crevasse.
I do.
Okay, all right, yeah. See if
Okay,
if,
so with the eye cybernetics,
mhm.
does that decrease my hit, or does that give me an extra dice?
That's a good question. Do we have any data on that? Let me see if there's anything about that. Cyber. Do a quick search in our book. Maybe if my file wanted to work, I will refresh my file. And then see. Sorry, it's being not very cooperative. Cybernetic. Gosh, the word cybernetic appears here a lot. Did you know that? I was like
Yeah,
looking for the
That
specific
makes
one.
sense.
Yeah.
everywhere.
Okay, here we go. And then was that a specific item, or was it was it under equipment by any chance, or
It is a special skill. We put it under special skill for cybernetics.
Okay.
And then they were eye enhancements.
okay. Let's
I actually think if I remember correctly, they were like, it's replacing an eyeball.
Okay,
Like
let's
I lost an eye.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah, you had lost an eye, or was it both eyes, or no, it was one eye?
I think it's just one.
Okay. And yeah, I would say let's reduce success number, because it was like it's making you just generally better at seeing these things. So I would say it would reduce success number. So you would bring it back. So I said it was a 9, so it would bring you back to the default of like an 8, let's say.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 successes, 1 crit. Let me roll that.
All
one.
right. Yeah.
So 5 successes.
Oh wow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely you know, acknowledge that Zizi did figure some stuff out, like like definitely you're, you know, proud that they're getting those basics down of navigation. They remember to check where the sun is, and like, you know, and you, but like, yeah, you definitely have, like, you've clocked over there is like, if we go on that slope, we're gonna be in a landslide. That's no good. Zizi missed that. Didn't see the. Sorry, Zizi. Zizi totally didn't notice the slope where the landslide might happen. You definitely see. You see signs of where there's just been more activity. There's places where the brush has clearly been knocked down a little bit, and the undergrowth brush has been knocked down. Places where you can kind of see a little bit more human activity, so you kind of get a sense of like, I think this is kind of the most well-traveled path. It's so yeah, you're able to kind of really focus in on a path. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I will just say, CZ, well done, but let's follow me, and I'll just kind of take off, and hopefully everybody I'll be like, stand in line. Like, we don't want to disturb the nature or the wilderness around us. We're gonna work on our stealth skills, ZZ. Just to kind of tighten them up. And then we'll just try to work our way up the mountain. It's currently raining too, or it's going to rain?
It is starting to rain. Yeah, it's starting to rain, and those black clouds as you two are figuring it out, and as Sayok is kind of he's a little distracted. He's so happy to see his home mountain. He's kind of greeting the plants and the animals, and he's kind of like singing a song of celebration of seeing his mountain again. You know, he's distracted.
Mossy's kind of going, oh, I have two ZZs on me right now.
I mean, Sayok seems a lot more calm and like, creative.
But he's older too.
curiosity.
Remember, this is like
Yeah, oh, yeah.
20 years from now.
Yeah. I
Still
think that ZZ is
chaotic.
like, it may be like while you're saying let's work on our stealth, ZZ is like trying to like flip out of a low-hanging branch. They're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna practice my athletics and like do like, you know, I don't know, did you guys have monkey bars or like, you know, bars in like elementary school? They're trying to like hang off their knees and do like the death drop thing off of there. I don't know, do I need to like roll to see if I don't like get the wind knocked out of me momentarily?
Yeah, I think you might need to do. What's our like
Make
athletics?
him roll.
Whatever the athletics type check is here, I think you might need to make one of those.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's a 3.
Okay.
That's fine. Oh, I think I did. I mean, I did okay. Maybe I don't know what.
Yeah, we could say it's just a default. I mean, you're doing something that, like you said, is kind of based on what kids do when they play, right? So, like, you would say it's a default number, 8. What are your successes?
Okay, I got a 10 and an 11.
Okay, yeah, not bad.
I'm like
yeah.
rolling good. I haven't gotten any ones so far. I'm so excited.
That's excellent. Yeah, Zizi's actually showing
You
really
stick that
well.
landing, and then you're like,
Like.
Yes, absolutely.
A little bow.
Sayok gives a clap. He's like, nice. And yeah, he seems, you know, fine with it. He doesn't seem worried about you like jumping on the trees or anything, because these trees are like the coralness of them kind of makes them very sturdy, and like, I mean, they're fragile in bad weather, but in terms of like weight support, they're fine. So you do that. You manage to like stick your landing, and you two start kind of following these signs of like a more well-traveled path, and kind of steer clear of some of the dangers around you, and like the landslides and things like that.
Saving up those ones for the rolls that really matter. Do the jumps.
I know. I was like, take that back.
How dare. Yes. Yeah, so as you make your way, you know, you kind of weave through and you see more animals. You see like raccoon, you know, kind of going around, and that one also has like very, very short fur, and it's like blends in a little bit with this environment, so it's more reddish in tone, like reddish and yellow. There's just little minor ways in which the animals of the plains seem to have evolved to life on the mountain. It's like you don't really see any like fully unique, like endemic to the mountain life as of yet.
They're variant.
Yeah, they're variants, yeah. And so, but then, the animals start to kind of run and start to take cover, and they start to kind of, the birds kind of send out their like little cries, and they go into the trees as the rain starts to come down harder. Water starts to kind of rush through those grooves as the water comes down. Yeah.
I really want ZZ to use one of those as a water slide. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yes. ZZ. So I feel, you know what? Yeah, I feel like we need to have like an impulse check roll that you do. I was talking to Jay. We were like, I wonder if ZZ would want an impulse check roll.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they're not right now because they're not all the way full yet. So ZZ's like, oh, I don't think my butt would fit in there. Plus, we're going up, so they just really like are thinking that looks like it could be fun.
A lot of fun, yeah. They're thinking it. Mossy notices them thinking and watching the water.
Yeah, I would say Mossy would give them something to do, like
please
hey,
count
ZZ.
all the yellow flowers.
Yeah. Hey, ZZ. Yeah, let's make sure we're keeping track of the direction that that we are change, because we keep having to like change directions. So take note of those, please, for me.
You can do that. Thanks for trusting me.
Mm-hmm.
Giving ZZ little assignments.
I pull out like a little like leather-bound notebook from my like fanny pack, and I'm like, this tree has moss on it that's facing this way.
The funniest part is that there's just moss on all sides of the tree.
It's like totally irrelevant and not helpful.
Whatever it takes to get ZZ to not go down the mountain in the water channels.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I would say that like let me see where my notes were here. Yeah, I would say that like it started to get much wetter, you're getting kind of drenched, but then the understory kind of grows denser as you go, the ground is getting a little slicker. There's it's getting darker overall because it's getting later into the evening, right? So dusk is kind of incoming at this point. It starts to get
Didn't we get lanterns or special lanterns?
Yeah, absolutely. You can have wait, was there a specific lantern, or do you just mean
Wait, but didn't we get lanterns from somebody in a previous game? No,
I don't know. I just don't remember. I would believe you. I'm trying to just remember. Think back on.
I feel like we got special lanterns at some point. Maybe when we were going into the cave, but for some reason that's kind of what I remembered. Maybe not. Anyway, I bring out lanterns. We bring out lanterns.
Wait,
we had technology, so.
Oh, when you were in the circle, I'm trying to remember the cave. Which cave?
Didn't we go into a cave underground to do
to break into my family's house?
Oh
no, I was talking about when we went and kind of channeled Gat's spirit.
Oh, okay,
session.
yeah.
Wasn't
so
that in a cave?
Those are like underground tunnels that because the city's kind of built like the Cahokia is kind of a big mound of a city, or they're built where the mound is, and like they have a lot of their structures are underground, so it's man-made tunnels and stuff that they have lighting kind of built in. I don't recall if you got any kind of like lanterns, but we could definitely say.
For some reason, it popped in my head that we had some special ones, but maybe not.
Unfortunately, I don't remember a special one, but you would definitely. I mean, it would make sense that you would have brought some kind of lighting, some kind of lantern or lights with you. Maybe not anything like very unique, but it would have been like lights that you could use when it's dark. So you have, these lanterns with you that are kind of casting. They're casting light. You're able to navigate by that. You're not in, pitch black, but in a lot of ways, of course, it makes the forest outside of your circle of light even blacker and darker. You hear sounds shifting, moving in the forest beyond the circle of your light.
Sorry, I think that we got lanterns, and then ZZ was like, I'm gonna figure out how to attach these to our clothes so we don't have to hold them, like a little magnet maybe that goes in their like shoulder or something.
That makes sense. Hands free.
Put a Grogu there, yeah.
Like the Grogu.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so yeah, it grows darker outside the circle of light. You have your lanterns kind of shining. You see animals kind of scurrying away, and you hear noises outside. The rain comes down harder, but also as you go further in, there's the overgrowth of the trees, like the mosses grow denser and thicker, so it cuts off even more light above your heads. And yeah, you start to just make a perception check for each of you, please. And I will also roll one for Sayak.
Is that from our stats at the top?
I think, yeah, let me see what our perception is. I think that, yeah, you've got just a perception stat. I'm trying to see if there's anything that would also be added to that, but I think it's just a general perception. Yeah, I would say it's just a kind of a general perception check. So yeah, you have a stat for that.
I have a 12, a 3, and a 3, and then I'll roll the 12. I have a 5.
I also got a
So,
3 and a 3. And a 2.
One success.
One success for you.
Which
and
was a
one
crit.
success
Okay, you each got one success? Okay. All right. Yeah, you definitely, so you see with one success, I'd say that two of you look, and you first notice a large shape move in the darkness past the circle of light. And you look and you turn your lights to face it, and it's gone. And then Sayak, who rolled a little bit better, he got a couple successes. He sees that, he sees where you looked, and then he follows the direction where it went, and he points and he's like, there. And you shift your lights that direction, and you see these glowing eyes first of all, and
no.
then you see these large glowing eyes looking out from like 7 feet tall, and then the storm really hits full force and lightning flashes. And as the lightning flashes, you see this large humanoid shape, but just made of mosses and lichen and rock, standing in front of you. And you see this creature staring out. And I'm going to say we're going to take a break really quick on that note. We're not ending session. It's 3:30. We still got it, but a little 5-minute break. We're gonna do a BRB. So everyone, hang in there to find out what they have just come across.
What is this large creature with the glowing eyes?
All right, I'm sending us to BRB. We'll be right back. Everyone, stick with us. brave party has just, in the dark, stormy night on the mountain, has just encountered a lurking, hulking being that is made of moss and rock and lichen and all of the bits and pieces of the mountain, and no discernible like flesh or form underneath, and it stands 7-8 feet tall and just hulking over you, and it stands there, it doesn't move, and Sayok, you all have a moment where you all like look at each other and you're just taking this in, and Sayok is like, it's the Guardian. It's the Guardian. And
Or what is the Guardian? I'm like trying not to take my eyes off of it, but also like
it's so still as it looks at you for a moment that it almost is like almost as still as the mountain itself. And yeah, he has a chance to say, it protects the mountain, but I didn't think it would bother us. I mean, I'm from here. I thought it would know me. It shouldn't. And he just looks stunned and a little concerned. He's like, I don't think it'll attack us, but. And then as he's saying this, like finally this thing like shifts a little, and it kind of like, you see it kind of like open its arms up, and it says, you will be tested. And it and
the pressure.
everything like you feel that minor earthquake happen, and the mountain shakes underneath your feet a little bit, and as it does and you stumble, you catch your feet, and when you look up, you know, from catching yourselves, each of you is standing alone. You find yourself with your companions aren't there, and the sky is blue. I mean, it's blue. It's the forest lights pouring through the forest, but you're each in a different spot than you remember being, and you're each alone. But each of you can see this hulking shape in front of you still, just standing. And yeah, we're gonna kind of go through each of you. I mean, Sayok is also somewhere, not with either of you. And so we're going to do this with each of you individually and kind of go back and forth, I think, a little bit. So let's start with Mossy. Okay, all right. So Mossy, yeah.
Do I have Ku? Is Ku with me or no?
Ku is with you. Ku is with you still. Yeah, Ku is, looking very alarmed and kind of running. I saw that, Emerald. More like Mossy. Gotta get that pun counter up. We can't be falling short on our Coyote and Crow streams. Yeah, so Mossy, Ku is kind of running alarmed, looking, kind of peeking around and looking for your companions who are gone. This thing, stands and passively looking at you. There's like, a pool nearby, and like you're just in a little bit of a different section. Like this isn't where you thought you were. And it just kind of looks and gazes down on you, and it watches you for a minute, and then it says, it says, you must prove that you belong on the mountain, that you can be here, and you must prove that your friend can be here too. Your other friend, your tall, curious friend.
Oh, God.
Which tall, curious friend?
Do not worry of the Vigil Keeper. I will take care of him as well. But I know him, but I do not know you. So he's
just said I'm responsible for myself and for Zizi?
He's basically asking you to make your case, and so he says, why do you come here? I sense you wish to take from the mountain.
Guardian, we do come with a request for aid. We do also bring gifts in exchange and hopes. The tribes within the city are suffering and we have discovered that something here, your special mushrooms can help us. So we come requesting aid. We come not to serve ourselves, but in service of others, and to bring them to full health.
He looks and listens impassively, and he says, "You wish to take the sky goddess's tears to save your people."
If that's what the mushrooms are called, yes. Yes, but not without your permission. We are not here to take without honor. That is not who we are.
He kind of does a slow acknowledgement nod, kind of like, "I see. You must understand I do not know you, and do not know if I can trust you. I will ask you a question. How do you know you can trust your friend? Will they also be someone you can rely on? Do you believe that they will do what is right?"
Mossy kind of smiles and says, "ZZ is definitely unique in nature. They have a unbridled enthusiasm that for some can be off-putting, but they are also the person that I can trust without hesitation. They have proven over and over again that they will assist me and be there for me, whether I want them there or not. There is no one else that I trust more at this time."
I see. Okay, that's a very good case you've made. I would say what I'm going to ask is that you make a I'm going to say, I'm kind of getting a sense of what this would be. A will roll, and it's going to be based on, we're going to lower your success number because you've made a very good case for your friend. So this is what you get a sense of is that this is a creature that exists physically and spiritually and it is not just testing you on a physical spoken level. You can feel it testing you on an emotional and will level. It's thoroughly checking you out. So there is another aspect to this of just like, it's rummaging a little bit and looking for, the reality, like the realness of what you're saying, and looking for vulnerability points and whether you can really be trusted or not. So yeah, please make a will check for me. We'll make the success number 7.
I got a 8, 1, and a 6.
Ooh, okay. So the 1 means I think that means you get 0 successes. Okay. So yeah, so
I only have 3 on will, so I only rolled 3 dice, correct?
Okay. 3 dice. So yeah, I think that it senses something here. It senses that there's something a little bit weird, and it's looking for what, maybe what is it feeling from you? Is there a doubt in your mind, or is there some kind of feeling Mossy might have that it finds in you when it searches? Not necessarily about ZZ, but maybe anything else.
I think Masi's feelings about Zizi are solid. Like that was true to what she said. All of those things about Zizi are true. I think if anything, um her emotional changes and kind of honestly probably the fact that the Guardian can sense anything from her is unsettling because she's kept it so locked down,
Mm.
and that initial kind of completely tearing them down for those witches or those crow hags
Mm.
just has her still, she's not recovered from that, and so it feels like temporary walls now, so it's a weird thing for her.
Okay.
Just she doesn't trust herself, maybe. Not
Mm.
about like damaging, obviously she's not going to damage the environment or hurt the people or anything like that, but she has a lack of trust in herself, or maybe even a lack of understanding of who she is now and who she's becoming in the future.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I think that he does sense that, and he kind of narrows those faceted eyes at you, and kind of looks deeply into you and through you, and he says, yes, you do trust your friend, you trust her with your life, or them with your life, but you do not trust you, and how can I trust you if you do not trust yourself? And I think that he says, you must demonstrate trust in yourself. And he vanishes. And then what you hear, you think you hear Zizi in trouble. You hear a voice from somewhere off in the woods. And I'm going to swap now to Zizi. I'm not saying that was you, Zizi, but that's definitely what Mossy hears.
Okay.
So you think you hear cries for help. So now Zizi, you are find yourself standing alone with this great hulking mossy figure. Everybody has gone from your sight. Ku and Mossy and Sayak are gone. And yeah, this creature basically repeats the same thing to Zizi and says, you must prove yourself and prove that you and your friend can be trusted here. And yeah, he you got Mike okay?
I don't wait.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Just double checking.
I mean, I feel like Zizi would immediately have been like twirling in a circle, like, "Where are my friends? What did you do?"
Fair enough. Yeah, he says
in the middle of their speech.
Hey, listen, I'm talking to you. No,
give me back my friends.
Your friends are safe. They also will be tested. And okay. And he says, why are you here? I see that you seek to take from the mountain.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. We do, but not like without your permission. Look, we come bearing gifts to the people and to the mountain and to Sky Goddess, and we're not gonna take without permission. We just want to ask. We're asking humbly, if we want, if some mushrooms could maybe be spared to help our people. And like Zizi's gonna start like going into the whole thing, like, so here's what happened is they poisoned everybody in Cahokia and all the crops and it was really bad and people were throwing up and I had to smash the teacups all in the ground and there were these like crow witches and like, oh, and now I can throw knives and we had to go into this to discover and like my friend's mom and sister and blah blah blah, and they're just like they're going into the whole story.
Of the Guardian to be like trying to find a tree to lean on, like
start getting uncomfortable. Yeah, it just kind of it stares impassively, but you can definitely like tell that this is a very unusual. It expected that you know Zizi to be more intimidated, and now it's just like it's like trying to summon itself up to be like
Yeah.
so it
Zizi's
listens.
not really intimidated anymore. They're like actually getting closer. They're like, oh, and then there was this like explosion, and like they're like lots of like gestures and like like reaching out, like interact, trying to like
At some point it's like
tell them into
stop, and it's just like puts a hand out. It's like okay, I see that you are full of genuine energy. It's like this is earnest energy. Yes. But I must ask, how do you know I can trust your friend? She is alone. She is she has trust. She has had violations of trust. Can she be trusted?
Well, first of all, Zizi's like, she's alone because you did some weird mountain magic. Like,
Zizi
we
just
were
takes it very
together.
literally.
It's very literally.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, you could totally 100% trust her. I mean, she always does the right thing, and I 100% believe that she always acts with honor and integrity and does the right thing, even sometimes at the cost to herself over over hurting other people. She takes the pain into herself instead, which I don't think is very healthy all the time, but I still think she's doing what the best she can, and she always does the best she can.
Okay. He does the same like acknowledgement nod. He sees that this is what you believe, that you believe this truly. But he seems to want to. Let's have you do that will check as well at this point. He seems to want to ask further questions, but he's kind of doing that full investigation of you on a multiple levels at this stage.
I don't think I got any successes. 5, 7, 3.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So he
Mountain is tough.
Wait, you said 7 was going to be a success.
Oh, you're right. Okay, you do get 1 success. Okay, excellent. Okay, so he does not do the same thing. He says, I see that you speak true. But then he seems to want to like push a little further, or he wants to test you a little bit, because that's only 1 success. So he's not quite done. So what he says is, the sky, like I had said, it kind of become brighter and all of that, but like everything darkens a little bit as he talks, and his voice echoes down a little, and he says, but you do not know, she has pushed you away before. What if she gets tired of you? What if she does not want you following her? What if you are annoying to her?
This has never occurred to Zizi.
Oh no.
So they need to take a minute to be like,
what? Me?
annoying. What?
I think at this point, he's kind of testing your confidence in the relationship that the two of you have together. I think that's what he's testing. So yeah, he's questioning that for Zizi.
I think Zizi would continue in their like reckless enthusiasm face, which is just like, oh, well, if Mossy got, annoyed with me, I would just not let that happen. I would just follow them around more until they were not annoyed with me anymore. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, like. Like no, we're friends. We would, and Mossy would never interrupt an incomplete weapons training session. Like that would be irresponsible. Mossy's the opposite of irresponsible, so they're definitely gonna still, like. I mean, I still can't juggle the knives. Like she's not gonna let me hurt myself by like practicing that on my own and on the top of a tree. Not that I've done that, but like yeah, we would just talk about it and work it out, and then everything would be okay again.
Okay, Nice. All right. So I would say that I'm going to cut away again real quick. We're going to do a little bit of swapping back and forth. I think we leave with ZZ making a very impassioned case for like, no, that's not what's going to happen, etc. And you're
I'm
just
like
really
pacing
engaged.
and role playing, and I'm like, Mossy would be like, you are being annoying, and Zizi would be like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me. Let's go into the
And
woods.
scene, and then
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's where we leave you. We go back to Mossy, and so yeah, he's vanished, and it seems to Mossy as if you're back, in the dark, rainy woods, as if he's basically returned you back into that situation, and it's pouring. The thunder is like rolling overhead. Things are shaking again a little bit for you. You start to see like there are trees that are creaking, one crashes down, and you hear ZZ's voice. In trouble, like you hear panic ZZ. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. What do you do?
so it's back in Stormy Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Still can't see anything, and I hear what I think is ZZ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sit and walk the black
Ooh.
in the direction that I thought I heard ZZ sound coming from. So I'm gonna sit and meditate and just kind of investigate spiritually, see what I could see.
I like that. That's bold. That's a bold move, because you've got all this, like, the earth is shaking. So, but Mossy, in spite of all of this chaos and rage in the environment, just takes a seat and centers herself, closes her eyes, and walks the black. So now that is I am gonna see if I can pull up that skill, because I think you have to take a point of mind damage or something like that. Let's see if we can find that page again. My book keeps being slow.
It says travel in spirit form with a will check.
Okay. Let me find that page really quick. Walk the black. Yeah, travel in spirit with a will check. Activation, 1 point of mind, 1 point of soul, dice check will. To activate, you sit or lie down, spend a point of mind and a point of soul. So you have to spend a point of mind and soul, and then you make a will check, and a success indicates they've successfully activated the ability. Okay, so yeah, so go ahead and this is tricky. Because this is a really hard period in time for you to make this. So I might have to set and I know you only have the 3, so I feel bad doing this, but you, there's a storm raging around you. So I'm going to set the success number a little higher at 9. So you roll 3. Do you want to roll for me?
Yeah. I have a 9 and a 12.
Ooh, dang. Mossy is
and
serious
I got another
about this.
12. I got another 12 on my crit.
Dang, get a girl. Okay.
Wow.
Do I roll that one again?
Yeah, you can. Sure. Let's see how successful this. Nice. Wow. Okay. So yeah, something about this situation, like Mossy suddenly thrives in this chaos. Like it's like you just laser focus in, and there's this contrast of like the more chaotic and wild and just out of control the environment seems to get, the more determined you get, and the more serious Mossy is, because if that is ZZ out there, ZZ's in real, genuine danger. This is a very, very dangerous situation. You cannot afford to lose your mind here.
I think
But you're
Mossy
showing some trust.
Yeah, well, I think
Right?
too, there's very little that where she's indecisive, and I think the Guardian saying like, "I'm kind of checking that you don't trust yourself." She was like, "Damn, okay, you're right, and let's fix that." Literally, the only situation that would make her uncomfortable was like the market with Sokola. So it was just like something that she recognized and was like, okay, we're gonna fix this. So that's
Okay.
her mentality.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so I go ahead. Yeah, you enter the black and you see that, kind of almost negative photograph kind of effect that you get when you walk the black, where everything's kind of inverted and you see
Yeah,
things.
so I can actually see.
Yeah, you can see the kind of
Hey.
through the darkness, through the storm, and you see more of just the, like, it's brighter areas where there's more spiritual energy and stuff happening, and so you're able to kind of see all around you. I would say that can you give me man, a perception check, and we'll give you an extra die roll on the perception check because you did so well on your walk the black. I don't want to. Yeah, let's do a perception check.
12, 12, 5, 3.
You are rolling so many
9, 3.
crits today. This is crazy.
Well,
You two are
that
just like,
one, Mossy was like, no more.
no more after that. Yeah, that's incredible. Okay, so give me first. You're looking. What are you looking for, and where are you looking?
Well, I know what ZZ's spirit looks like.
Mhm.
In the black.
Aw.
So I am kind of looking to see if indeed that is, because of course, obviously, there's magic's been happening, so it could be a ruse. So I took the time to center myself, but also, like, is this really ZZ that the sound is coming from? So I'm looking for her spirit, in essence, is what I'm looking for.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the first thing you notice is, like, there's definitely illusion happening around you, because the walk the black reflection is more real than what you were seeing with your physical eyes when you were just in the wet, stormy forest. I mean, the storm is definitely having you're soaking wet in the physical form, but the wave, the layouts of trees, like where the energy in the trees and the energy around you, like, it's different in Walk the Black. So you're definitely in a different place than where it physically appeared, like you were with a different environment. In the direction, let's start with that. In the direction where you heard ZZ, you do see a form of light, and you see a spirit there, but it's a big hulking spirit, right? You immediately recognize, I mean, it's not the colors and shapes you associate with ZZ spirit, which I would let ZZ define what maybe ZZ looks like in the spirit world. Yeah, let's say that. ZZ, what do you think your spirit would kind of manifest as a little bit in this world?
I think it would be very, like, multicolored and changing and sparkly.
Oh,
Kind of
yeah.
like an MRI of somebody's brain that is being, like, lit up by various stimuli kind of at the same time, in, like, rainbow kind of, like, sparkles coming off of it.
Incredible.
That's what I think it looks like.
I love that. That's wonderful. That makes perfect sense. It's like that big brain meme, or like like just colors shooting out, shifting in form. Yeah, you look for that, and that's definitely not what that is over there. Like, you see, that's like a solid, like, greenish yellow kind of shape out there, and it's clearly associated with this creature, this guardian that is testing you. You know that it's luring you that direction, and that whatever we're gonna face there wasn't your friend. And so you swivel your head around, and actually back behind you, and more downhill in the almost opposite direction through the trees, you see ZZ's energy. You see that they are somewhere downhill and down in that direction.
It's pacing. It's going back and forth like this.
You see it,
and, like, barking as they're, like, ranting at the guardian.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I speak in the black? I can speak in the black.
Yes. I do not know how well, like, ZZ's not in the black right now, right? And so there might be, you could try to, like, speak, but I don't know. Yeah, it depends on what you want to do.
Okay, so I sense this big green thing, realize it's not ZZ. I see ZZ over here doing her thing. And I say, Guardian, I know you can sense that my words are true. And I know you can sense that I am not perfect and that I am learning and that I am growing. I would hope that you would not hold that against me. And then I actually just back out of the black. I just leave it at that. Like that was a mic drop and I walk out.
Okay.
Boom! I'm out.
Okay. All right.
Black.
Yeah, you come back out of the black. And do you take any action when you step out of the black, or do you wait, or do you move towards ZZ or
No,
anything?
I get up and I just kind of like make sure Koo's good. Koo, of course, had been watching my body while that was happening. That's what she's trained to do. Just cinch up my pack, make sure everything's still waterproof inside, and just kind of basically stand and wait and see what happens. I can't do anything, so
Okay.
I
Okay.
just wait.
So you're waiting for a response from Okay.
The guardian.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, if they're affecting what's happening around me, then it's pointless for Mossy to try to like tramp through, even though she knows in the spirit world where ZZ is. That doesn't necessarily mean that the guardian is gonna let her get there. So she's
Okay.
smart enough that she's just like, okay, your turn.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to swap back to ZZ for just a minute, and we're gonna come back to that. Okay. Okay. So ZZ is animatedly explaining all of this stuff. What happens is as you were doing this, and you've explained all of these things, you've got a very strong opinions about this. What you see is Mossy steps out of the tree line. And says, you wandered off again. Where did you go? I was looking everywhere for you.
Okay, I'm like, oh, Mossy, you're here. I didn't wander off anywhere. This spirit mountain protector is like testing us. So that's not my fault.
I think that this Mossy in front of you, which obviously we know on metagaming is not the real Mossy, but as far as ZZ can tell so far, I think that this Mossy crosses her arms, and Koo is running nearby, and she shakes her head and she says, "You're always getting distracted. Like, just ignore it. Let's just go. Like, why are you always like this?"
Oh, and I'm like, ZZ is like, well, no, we can't ignore the mountain protector. Like, this is their mountain. Like, why are you saying these things? You're acting kind of weird. This is, I think, the point where ZZ kind of thinks, like, I'm getting a weird vibe.
Okay.
This isn't the Mossy vibe that I'm familiar with. Like, Mossy is like prickly, but never like
not mean,
like hurtful.
Yeah. This Mossy is definitely being meaner than ZZ has experienced, and this Mossy says something to the fact, and you can, if you want to figure out, like, I'm trying to think a role in terms of like detecting. This Mossy says something to the effect of like, well, I already passed the test. I don't know why it's you haven't passed this test yet. So yeah, they're saying, yeah, she's continuing to say these things that are like just a mean version of Mossy, and let's have you roll, since you did say ZZ is starting to notice something is weird. Well, first of all, let's do some kind of perception, I think. Let's just do a perception. I wish is there an insight? There's like wisdom. Your wisdom is a little...
Intelligence.
Wisdom, intelligence. I must be looking at the wrong person's sheet right now, or am I? Wait, is your int only 2? But ZZ's so smart! Is that true? Is that right stat?
That can't
Oh, I don't think you distributed stats on here. Okay, let me look at your original. Okay, let me check. No, that's okay. I just want to double check and make sure I give you a good one that makes sense for this role. Okay. So your intelligence is 4. I feel like it's a bit of a wisdom roll right now, because it's not just whether you can figure out a problem, it's also whether you are emotionally intelligent in this moment and can see that this isn't. Yeah, so I'm going to have you do a wisdom check. And if
That's
there's
great. That's my best one.
oh yeah, and you also have if you want to do an ability or you want to do anything else to like kind of reduce your success numbers or, but yeah, it's up to you.
I mean, I investigation. I mean, I don't think that ZZ would want to go investigate this weird Mossy that they don't think is Mossy, but
Okay, yeah,
I think just
just a wisdom check.
is
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
fine. Okay.
Wisdom check.
I mean, I know I'm not there, but I could totally see ZZ like walking up and smelling them or something.
Or like
taking
being
a
like,
big,
"Oop."
big whiff and just being like,
You
know,
smell wrong.
Yeah.
So I
But
got
you do your own game, not with just I
3.
could see you
Yeah.
doing that.
No,
Mhm.
yeah. They're kind of wary about it. I think because like they don't want to offend the mountain base.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So, so what did you get? You roll a wisdom check.
Yes, and I got 2, 3, 9, 9, 12. Let me re-roll that 12.
Nice.
And that's a 4.
So many 12s going around. This is incredible. Cool. So that's 3 successes. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. I would say that definitely you notice things are off. Like, not only is this Mossy acting, saying things that don't really add up. Yeah, there's just little things that you notice are weird about her, and like she's taller than you think she was before. She's moving kind of stiffly and not really like herself. Like she doesn't seem as like physically present here as she would otherwise be and aware as she normally would be. She's just glaring at you.
Probably also saying more words than Mossy would ever say.
Oh,
in any
yeah.
kind of
Yeah, I'm like-
corrective action.
Yeah.
Why are
yeah.
you saying so much? Usually when I'm like wander off, you just go like,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, you feel it on a deep fundamental level. ZZ's like, this isn't Mossy. This isn't my Mossy. This and yeah, you see through it. You definitely recognize what is happening. Do you say anything? Do you call it out then? You call it out to them or?
Yeah, I mean, ZZ's like thought to voice connection it's just automatic. So I think probably ZZ is just like, wait a minute, you're not Mossy at all, are you? And then like looks back to like the mountain spirit and is like, is this maybe the test? 'Cause that's not Mossy.
That Mossy vanishes and is gone in an instant. I'm going to say, okay, so I switch back. I'm going to do a quick switch again. Back where Mossy is, the Guardian reappears in front of you. You are back in the real world. Yeah, the rain is real, the darkness is real, everything, the thunderstorm that is now encroaching is happening. But yeah, he says to you, I have seen that you are true throughout your soul and spirit. I will allow you to pass. If you leave, please leave your gift. You had mentioned that, I think you both separately mentioned like that you brought some things, and he's like, please leave your gift here. And there's kind of like points to the hollow of a tree. And he's basically saying, I will accept this, this token of your goodwill. And I will give you safe passage. So do you leave anything, or do you offer something from the gifts?
Well, my gift was gonna be a song.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
I guess I break out my little handheld zither and play.
You play. Oh, that's great. Can you want to do a music check?
in the storm, in the this whole like
In the dark.
The tree boughs actually kind of like move and shift to cover you and kind of protect your instrument as you play, because the Guardian wants to hear what you got. You want to make a little music check for me?
Yeah. I have 8, 10, 9, 5, 10.
Incredible. Yeah, you make a beautiful song. Do you sing about, like, what do you sing about, or what do you play?
I don't sing.
Oh, you don't sing.
I just play.
You just play like a tune.
But it is kind of a not sad and like sobbing sad, but a melancholy kind of, maybe just something that is soothing for me, and hopefully for the guardian as well.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. I think that like it's these beautiful zither notes play, and I would actually say also in ZZ's clearing, where ZZ is, even in a slightly in the illusion, you hear this music float out across and through the mountain, and you hear this melancholy, but you know, this emotional song play out. And I think the guardian creates, like, as you play, you see a pathway opening up, connecting you and making a clear path between you and ZZ, and a clear path forward. And it gives you another one of those slow nods, and it says, I think that the goddess of the sky would like you. And then he just vanishes. So
Nice.
that's on Mossy's side, and you've got that clear path. On ZZ's side, it gives you the same nod, like you've just spotted that he was messing with you. He was testing the shakeableness of your faith in your friendship, and really seeing if he could rattle you, because you were clearly, ZZ was kind of just like, ZZ was just going on so much, and he's like, well, let me see if this person is grounded in this. Is this a surface level thing, or is this a grounded faith in this relationship? And yeah, so I think he gives you that same nod, and he gives you the same offer. He says, you know, he makes there's a large one of these trees with its pitted trunk, and it's got a hollow there underneath it, under the roots, and he says, I see that you are grounded in your friendship and in your faith of your friend and yourself. I ask only that you leave your offering here, and I will grant you safe passage. Do you offer anything in the hollow? Do you place anything in the hollow?
I think I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, but
ZZ's so breezy.
What about these fidget spinners? So are they gonna go to the community? Like, I want them to have these cool things that I made. Like, I would probably like take out the, like, you know, the bag of tobacco and like hold it in my hand and be like, should I put it here or bring it like directly to the people? And I like look at the mountain spirit for guidance.
Yeah, I would say that the mountain guardian, he says the tobacco will be good here. You can bring the people their gift. That is for them and not for me.
And then I'll gently place it down there, the little gift.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent. Yes. So as you do, you know, for in your case, he hadn't returned you back to the real world. It's a little jarring, of course, because you come out of like what is more like a clear sunny time. You were still drenched, by the way. Like, you were still getting wet actively, but you couldn't see any rain or sun. You were just like getting physically soaked from somewhere, just dripping. But yeah,
what a unique experience.
Yeah. And so like he returns you back. The storm is going full blast, like it's, you know, thunder, and there's, you know, pouring rain through the trees where there's gaps from the moss and the lichen. But as he does, though, he does open that path. You see the same thing that Mossy sees, and at the other end of it, you see Mossy. Excellent.
I like run over there, and then I stop like 5 feet away, and I'm like, is that actually Mossy though?
I put out my hand to do the forearm embrace.
Okay. And I'm like, yeah, it is. So I run over there to her.
CZ, are you well?
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was crazy. This like forest spirit was asking me all about you, and I told that spirit that you were like totes the best, and then and then there was a fake Mossy, and I knew it wasn't you because you were being really mean. And then I left my gift. Did they ask you for your gift? How did you put a song in a hollow?
That was definitely interesting, but the guardian welcomed it, so.
Okay, cool. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. That fake Mossy was really freaking me out.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you as well.
As you two give each other a wonderful and warm greeting, Sayok stumbles out into the clearing with you, and he's like, whew, and he's out of breath, and he's like, oh, the Guardian just let me get back. Wow, did he make you guys do a lot of push-ups? I had to do a lot of push-ups.
Moxie
You
and I
think you
exchange
can leave
a
the
look.
mountain? Give me 200.
I think that's exactly
And I'm
it.
gonna go over there and I'm gonna like feel his arms. Like, oh,
Yeah, these guys actually like they're kind of his muscles are standing out, and he's like, whoo, and he's like, dripping wet. I mean, gotta admit, he's a looker. He's this guy has a high charm. Like he's
I'm like,
yeah. He's like, I think the Guardian was kind of messing with me. Yeah, the Guardian for him definitely did recognize him, but was also mad at him. And so it just made him
Like,
do a bunch
"You
of physical things while it was busy testing you two to make sure you were legit. So like the rest of your way up the mountain is clear. You're able to it's definitely the ground is slick. There's trees crashing, but the Guardian Spirit has trusted you and has cleared a path for you to let you go to the top. And of course, if this hadn't gone well, it's very possible it would have misdirected you or put you in danger. So the fact that the two of you demonstrated that you could keep your cool, that you trusted each other, that you trusted yourselves in these moments, like that was enough for him. He could see that you were safe people to be here. He clears that path to you to the top of the mountain. Let's see, we're at 4:25 right now. I just want to kind of keep an eye on time. How are we doing? Are we okay? Like a little bit more? Okay, because we're pretty close to where I kind of figured this session would wrap up, but I just wanted to get there. So okay, cool. So you emerge into a clearing at the top, and you see a big open area. It's definitely like this hill or this mountain kind of comes to this flatter area on the top. There's still these grooves running across it, in these regular grooves of channels of water and rock. But on top of that, though, you see that a lot of these trees have been, have fallen over and naturally created there's a lot of soil up here that's piled up. And there's just this beautiful bright blue translucent mushrooms that are like little bubbles, kind of like little bubbles coming out of all of the surfaces, all of the ground. And there's these people, they're going around and they're thumping on the ground, and they have staves, and they're stomping, and they're singing, and they're doing they've begun the ceremony. The ceremony is underway as you emerge into the storm full blast, and they don't seem frightened. They don't seem like they're concerned about, being hit or anything like that. You can see that there's they've set up kind of lightning attractants in other parts away from the ground, so that they are not as likely to, they're not going to get hit, or you won't get hit either. And yeah, a couple of them, some of them, there are people who are, they're keeping the vigil, right? They have lights, and they have, there are a couple people who are crying, weeping, audibly, and crying for the goddess, and channeling her grief. And yeah, a couple of them on the outskirts that are just, keeping the beat, notice you as you emerge into the clearing. And they see you, and they don't seem worried. I think they know that, they see Sayak, and they recognize the beads in his hair that indicate him as a member of this tribe. And yeah, they call you away from the loudness of the storm into a sheltered area, that's built over there. And a couple of them summon you in, and they're like, it is a fortuitous time that you come to visit us, when the goddess's grief arises, and we sing her grief, and we calm her spirit. What brings you to us on such an important day? Sayak, I think, yeah, you're pointing at, I'm guessing Sayak. Yeah, Sayak steps up for you, and he speaks up. This is his job, right? This is what he's supposed to be good for, and he says,
that and push-ups.
Yeah, yeah, push-ups, yeah. Yeah, and they look at him, and I think it's a woman there, and she's she's of a similar age to him, and she kind of raises an eyebrow and looks him up and down a little bit, and she's like, "You're sweating. and she's like, what is your, she's like, you look familiar from long ago. And Sayok says, yes, I am Sayok of the Vigil Keepers. It has been a long time since I have returned home, and I am happy to be here on such a wondrous day. I barely have memories of the ceremonies, but they're treasured memories for me. And yeah, they kind of go through that process of greeting each other, and she recognizes him after a bit because they're of an age, and like she's like, oh my gosh, we used to run through the forest together, and there's a moment, and they connect, and yeah, he explains everything that what they're looking for, and he says, I know that the tears of the sky are precious to our people, and I would never ask for anything from you if it weren't of critical importance. But the people of Cahokia need our aid as a tribe. And she listens, and she does kind of turn to the two of you also, and because Sayok introduces you and explains like these two were part of uncovering this cult that is using this bioweapon against our people, and it could hurt a lot of people. And she turns to you and greets the two of you, and says, do you understand that this is precious to us? The tears of the sky are precious. You would take care of it. You would not exploit this resource of our people, yes?
It's not. No. No, never.
No exploitation at all.
We only want to help save our people, and with respect, and hopefully we can, be allies together.
Okay. Yeah, she nods and she listens. I think, she's obviously pretty spiritually connected. She kind of looks at you with those wiser eyes, and kind of gets a read on you. Obviously, she says, obviously you must have done well by the Guardian if you have made it to us here at the top. I hope it did not put you in too much peril or in any danger.
No, that guy's cool.
Even though he sent a mean Mossy to talk to you.
Yeah.
He did it for a good cause. Yeah. So you hear, there's a bang outside and a flash outside, and obviously the intensity of the ceremony picks up outside and she says, yes, she agrees to help you, and she starts gathering, like, there's some spore samples and stuff, and so she gets a couple of those for you and gives those to you, and she takes a basket and leads you outside into where the ceremony is happening, and lightning flashes are everywhere, the sky's just lighting up, but then you go out, and she starts to like collect some of these blue mushrooms, and she's very delicate with them, and you watch, and she's kind of slicing them off and then kind of very gently placing them into the basket that she has one of you hold it, like she hands the basket off. And yeah, she's kind of putting them in there as the ceremony goes on around you, and it's kind of like there's a frenzy to it, but also there's a kind of joy, even though there's criers, there's weepers in this ceremony. There's a joy to it as they soothe the goddess. But then there's one of those, there's a minor shake, you feel those shakes again, but then as you are gathering, you see something off in the sky coming out of the clouds, and what you see are reinforced, they are like sun wings, but they're reinforced larger things, and they're being tumbled a bit by the storm, and you see these coming in, and they're coming right towards the mountain. They're coming towards you, and a panel opens.
Don't land on the sensitive mushrooms in the middle of the sky goddess's ceremony.
Yeah, the Yutsu, so they're passing low, and you can see the Yutsu waves coming, and as they do, make perception checks for me, please. And I'm gonna say, I'm afraid this might be a higher success number. Just give me a 9.
Great.
Uh-oh.
Perception is not good.
Uh-oh.
357.
Ooh, okay. Anything
I
from
got
us?
a 942.
Ooh, okay, one success. Okay. So
I'm probably distracted by the ceremony. They're like, making cool music, and there's a lot going on. So.
Yeah. I mean, so ZZ gets that base, like, everybody's attention, like, a lot of people's attention turned towards it because you hear the hum of these, and, like, the Jutsu technology engines that are kind of, as they're approaching, and people look very worried. So you notice the faces, you notice that there is something coming. I think Mossy is the only one who notices, like, these aren't typical Sunwings. They bear marks of another nation, but I'm going to say with a success number, with one success, what do you figure out from this? Yeah, these are
But
not
also
from...
my eye.
True.
remember. So
What
it's a
did we say for that?
success,
Okay.
But what we usually use it as, it reduces it by 1.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a success plus 1.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah. I'll say that basically what you notice is you realize that these are not Cahokian Sunwing. These are not really built in the style and model of the Freelands and of Cahokia. They are from another nation, and you are able to make note that these are something else. And as these people look up and you see these things coming in, they open a passage, or they open a panel, and they're just a great bunch of white, like, granules of things. They scatter, they dust the field. So they're coming, and they're doing a passing, and there's this basically, as you look, you realize it's basically salt. It's a salt thing that's, like, as it's hitting these mushrooms and it's hitting the ground, it's soaking into the earth, and you can see it's damaging the mushrooms, and they're doing these passes over your head. They're not hurting people yet, but as they take these low passes, they are salting the earth, and they are damaging this harvest, and they're damaging and interrupting the ceremony, and their Jutsu technology is also hurting it. And so the people, like, the ceremony gets fully, like, interrupted, and people start screaming. They start trying to cover they're trying to cover the bigger patches of mushroom. They're trying to throw things over it to protect it.
My basket, I'm, like, bodily leaned over my basket, like,
So they, like, Psyok basically starts to push you back into the shelter, or towards, like, the shelter, and then the woman says, is this them? Is this the cult? Like, you don't know. Yeah, you kind of shrug because you have no idea, like, who this is, who's doing this. But ZZ, your Nizi arm device activates, and a voice comes through it, and it's a woman's voice, and she says, "Thanks for leading us to the mushrooms." And then it clicks off. You think that was the voice of Zuva, because she sounds a little like Gats. And she's got just that little familial trait of her voice that's a little familiar to both of you as you hear it come through this device. And she just seemed to have been able to get a connection there. And so they do these passes. The people are working to protect it, and the woman you talked to earlier, she's like, you need to go, take the mushrooms, go, get out of here, take them safely out of here. And she kind of pushes you out. Do you want to say something? You want to do something, Mossy?
I would say,
sorry. Or ZZ, whoever.
ZZ, you go first. You're protecting the basket.
Yeah, I have the basket, but I'm like, no, we can't leave you defenseless here. We have to help you save as many, as much as we can. That's just all ZZ. ZZ would be protesting to that. Like, maybe they're leaning back, like, nope, don't push me out.
Yeah, right, gotcha.
Yeah. I think Mossy would have pulled out her, like, metal-tipped arrows, and like, waited for them to come back, like, seeing that they're going to come back around and salt again, and probably try to, like, pierce something like a window. I don't really know exactly how the planes are, like, how the Sunwings are built, but in some way make it so they can't come back.
Okay.
Like, is it like a helicopter? It's actually like a plane.
Yeah, I'm kind of imagining it being sort of like a cargo vessel. So it's more reinforced, but it is still sunwing shaped. You know, it's got some of the broad, flat bottom and kind of wing shape out from it. And so, yeah, I would say that maybe you're aiming for,
Is there like propellers this way or propellers on the top? Is it propeller or is it engine? Like, I don't.
there's,
we didn't
so
really
let's say
talk
there's,
about what the technology is.
so let's say there's, something on the bottom. It's kind of, I'm trying to imagine how it would look exactly, but there's Jutsu technology on the bottom that's more like, more of what you would imagine you would see on the bottom of like a hovercraft almost. It's got, it's a hybrid of technologies, but, this is part of its technologies that Jutsu. So we can say that you fire into those open like vented parts that are on the bottom. This isn't going to be we're not initiating combat, but this is going to be like, you can make a roll for that specific action. Because yeah, this is like, there are multiples of these doing sweeps. So you're trying to hold them back. So yeah, give me a roll, like a ranged attack roll.
Okay. So many dice.
Mhm.
I get to roll 15 dice for this, by the way.
Whoa.
What?
Intense.
Because I
Um,
have a
Say-
+3 on the kind of bow that it is. From what, and my ranged weapons is 12.
Okay. Dang. I will say that because this is a moving target that you're trying to hit a very specific part of, this is going to be a higher success number, right?
In the
Okay.
rain.
In the rain, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
so it says usually an 8. I'm going to go with a 10 for this situation.
Okay. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. 2 of them
Woo!
are crits.
Wow.
Okay.
And those crits are 6s. So,
Mossy's incredible day. Mossy's just Mossy's got
I mean, they're a hero. So.
yeah, so you
I want to take at least 1 down. Is there 2?
There's multiple. There, like, you haven't gotten a full count on them yet, but there's at least four
Okay.
or 5 of these that have come up on the mountain and are doing these passes. This is a full-on assault. Yeah, so yeah, you nail that one though, and that one, like, you just like wedge it right in there, and it like, yeah, it hits a part of the Jutsu technology that is clearly powering it, and it kind of goes and destabilizes and goes. It obviously loses control. Pilot loses control, and they go diving out of sight. So you've definitely taken that one down. It goes over the crest of the mountain and out of sight into the clouds. So that one's, you don't think that one's coming
Awesome.
back? I'll be honest.
Cool.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
out.
So I will yell out, "Wake your guardian!" and then I'll grab ZZ.
Ah!
Put the basket. I'm assuming we've waterproofed it in some way. That they've waterproofed it as I was doing this, and then
Mhm.
I would like to find a channel,
A water slide?
a water slide, so we can slide down the mountain.
Yes. Okay. I love this. Okay. So a couple things happen. So you yell, call your guardian, find your guardian. And in response to you calling for the guardian, it hears you, and it arrives, and it hears its people screaming. You like, the ground shifts again, the earth shakes again. And the guardian like manifests and out of the ground almost just kind of rises up, and lichen and moss teetering, and you see that it kind of has some control over like the trees that are on the outskirts of this area, and it kind of leans some of them in, like sheltering over the outside mushroom groups and clusters that are out there. And on top of that, like, rocks detach from the earth, and it's using like a kinetic power, and it's kind of flinging these large rocks towards the these ships that are going overhead, these sunwings. As you are bundling, your people, and you're obviously getting ready to like go down, the woman from before is hustling with Sayak, and they come to you, and Sayak, he's like, I'm not going to go back, but when you go down, you can't take our ship again. If you take the ship, they will take you. You go by the caves. Go by the cave system. And there's a cave system that runs through the mountains to I guess north of here, south of Cahokia. You flew past it's that mountain system I told you flew past. There's a whole network, huge network of caves that runs through there. So he points you and he says, you've got to go back through the caves, keep this basket out of sight, don't let them see you. And yeah, they help you. They actually like give you like they point you at a specific channel, and they give you like a little raft that they use, and they're like, this one, take this one. And they give you a little raft, and like I mean, it's not much of one, but you grab ZZ, you grab the stuff, and you hop on, and you're going down. I'm trying to decide, I guess that might be like let's do a little navigational check, or like do a couple of checks on your way down the mountain. Is like, you rush down these channels, and I want to say that, yeah, we'll do that at the very end. So, yeah,
Hold
you're
on
doing.
to Koo's tail.
Yeah.
Hold on to Koo's tail.
Yeah, Koo actually tries to get back in the sling that you have. Like, it's like, oh, kind of scrabbles back inside the sling. Yeah, you covered the basket. You grab onto the edges, and like Sayak and the woman like push the raft, and it just goes crashing down. And the water, it's flooding almost at this point. Like, so it's sloshing back and forth, and like, yeah, you go down fast. Let's see. Make a man.
Survival.
What is? Yeah, let's do survival. It's like a steering survival check.
What's the big ride at Disneyland where you're like, has that huge drop? Is the log ride? I feel like that's what
Splash
we're gonna do.
Mountain.
It's pretty.
in the dark.
Yeah, like Splash Mountain. Yeah,
It's like Splash Mountain on steroids.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, it is thrilling. Like, yeah, so you're going around bends.
You will get wet.
Yeah, and it like, as you go down, there's sharp turns that you're having to take as you go. So like, let's make a survival check for how it goes going down this mountain. Uh-oh. Not this time, huh?
I got an 11. I only have 2 dice. I got 11 and a 1.
Ooh. Cancels. Okay. What do you got, ZZ?
I got a 1 also, but I also got a 10 and a 12. So 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, 12, and then I re-rolled the critical, and it's
How do you have more survival than I do?
I don't know. Because, like, you're a pathfinder. Because I'm getting into trouble a lot more.
My big ones are stealth and my weapon.
It's
I think
probably
that's what
because of
happens.
the stat also, because you're actually on your sheet. Wait, I don't. Yeah, do you have ranks in? Oh, you don't have ranks buy ranks in survival. Okay, so you haven't taken ranks in survival.
Mm-mm.
Okay, and it's endurance or wisdom based, and if you don't have a rank, I think it takes maybe your lowest stat. So yeah, I think ZZ's got a higher wisdom for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
And I have high wilderness stats, but it doesn't count for survival. Like, that doesn't really matter at this point.
yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, we'll say it's kind of like, yeah, ZZ's quick on their feet in this situation. Like, Mossy is like looking for something to grab onto or something to, like looking to
I think
like.
I'm scrambling with Koo. Like, she's trying to get in my thing. I'm also trying to make sure ZZ's not falling out. I have
you're
no
juggling
control
a
over
lot.
what's happening.
Yeah, you're just riding. So what does
I
ZZ
thought I'd be
do?
cool and be like, let's go. And then I'm just like, "Wah."
You're just scrambling, yeah. So ZZ, quick thinking, reacts in time. What does ZZ do to sort of like navigate you down the mountain? Do you do anything to kind of like, yeah, help this? What does this check look like, basically, you succeeding at this?
I mean, I think I grab, something from my fanny pack or whatever, like a rope, and like attach it to the front of the raft or something, so we can have some control over like steering a little bit. Basically, that's what I think I do. I rig up some, like rope pulley thing. I'm like, oh, I just slap this on here, and I also think I kind of get us to like resituate a little bit. I'm like, scoot back, so that we're not gonna topple over.
Yeah, yeah. So as Mossy is trying to get yourself bundled, get Ku bundled, and you're just sort of reacting, like ZZ, yeah, snaps into action, sets up this rigging, kind of shoves you and Ku back, and gets you both to the back of the boat, and like kind of takes control of the situation, and like gets you through these like channels, and like pulls on things on just the right moment, and like yeah, you navigate down these channels and you switch paths every now and then, and you know, kind of skip over to another one, and then like you also feel a little bit like the Guardian it's got a tiny bit of its attention on helping you, because you sometimes see a log in the middle of the path just sort of roll out of the way or something a little bit too convenient, right? And so you kind of sense that it's kind of helping you with what attention it can give you, and I think through that effort between the two of you and the Guardian trying to guide you, you get down safely out of the mountain. You don't end near where your Sunwing was, but you do.
That's
and
good.
yes, yeah, you don't want to come out where the Sunwing is. There's a good chance they've already found it. They already know about it, and we're already waiting for you there. So that extra survival check helps you there, because you otherwise may have just had been facing down some enemies when you got out. But you do realize that you're in the south side of those mountains. You know, like where the cave, like there's kind of like signs out there that, you know, out on the plains that kind of point you in towards those cave entrances. And yeah, you're headed for the caves. Yeah. So that's where we're
To
gonna
the caves.
to the caves. Yeah, the storm ranges behind you. And you are carrying this precious basket of mushrooms and spores, and trying to escape the people who are trying to destroy all of these and prevent you from getting this defense against the bioweapon that they have. So yeah, well done.
Crazy. I have a clarifying question.
Sure.
Zuva and Tagazi are our people, but the ships that came are a different people.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
This is
All right.
correct. That was
boy.
yeah. So that's it was Zuva on that who came through. It was Zuva's voice, but it does seem like either they are working with someone or they have acquired ships from someone, and you don't know yet which that is.
Yeah, I just was trying to clarify because I hadn't heard that Yutsu. You said Yutsu?
Yeah, the Yutsu technology is something used in Cahokia. It's like a gravitron based kind of energy is what I think the book described it as. It's like, so there's like, that's why I was struggling to tell you what it looked like on the ship, because I'm like, I don't know what gravitron like based energy Yutsu thing. I just know it's the technology they use in this world. But I, you know, I imagine in my head some kind of sci-fi, like, you know, little purplish waves coming out of the bottom of a, like, you know, spiraling vortex of something. I don't know. But yeah, you know, it would have been, it's almost like that hover technology combined with just regular flight technology.
Okay. We don't know. So we just knew it was different than what our technology was, or than what our ships were. So we actually don't know where those
you don't. Yeah, you didn't recognize it right away. I would say that you took note of what it looks like, and when you get back to Cahokia, you can very well like draw them a picture or tell them like, these are the colors of the ship and this is what it looked like, and they might be able to tell you like, oh, that's so and so's, or that's from where. But you don't know right now. Right now, you don't have that info, but you will want to remember it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Mossy remembers everything she's ever shot. So
okay, nice.
Shot and killed, yeah.
She takes little trophies, yeah. I don't know what this would be, a little tiny piece of metal that fell off, or no.
Just we had to leave too fast for trophies on that one, but I will remember.
You will remember,
yeah.
And it was witnessed. Like ZZ saw that cool shot.
It was witnessed.
Yeah,
that's right.
So amazing work. That's incredible. I guess like that's where we're gonna leave it for this time. Next time we'll be going into the caves. I would say, we talked about last time doing your check-ins on your progression before we signed off. Are we gonna do that on stream? Is that what we decided?
Sure.
Up to you two. Okay. So I guess, yeah, can talk about so for our one or two people that joined us in chat right now, if you wanted to, stick with us while we work on this, then please hang in there. Otherwise, join us on Tuesday for Give Big stream, and come hang out. We're going to be playing Fiasco. We're going to be raising some funds. But for Geek Girl Con, and just we would really appreciate you coming and hanging out and maybe throwing a donation in. So Fiasco is gonna be a lot of fun.
The three of us will be back. Plus we've got Amanda playing with us, so should be crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
Set at a
And you can
Geek Girl Con convention
donate to have things happen in it. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
More
yeah.
donations, more mayhem.
Yeah, information yet to come on what you might be able to do, but you can influence the game. So
yeah.
And now we're gonna move into kind of an after show part of our just looking at our sheets and getting progression figured out. It shouldn't take too long, but yeah, we're just gonna do that real quick and figure out what we're doing next. Sweet. Okay. So, how did everybody do on their goals? Let's see. So, build spear drums, learn how to use them from Sokola. You had a 3 for, I'm gonna say you, shall we count it as 1 towards it, or what do you think?
I was gonna say, my suggestion would be to reduce the Sokola one to 2.
Yeah.
Since I made that initial connection and we did that. And so next time I'll have 2 for building the drums and 2 for the learning process.
Yeah.
I think also maybe reducing the bonus, like giving using this as a 1 point for the performance, since I played to the Woods and the Guardian. But I still think the long-term goal might stay at 8.
Okay.
There's not a lot of, I did a pretty good impassioned plea to the Guardian about how I felt about ZZ.
True. I would say so.
Maybe I just get a reduction for all of that.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think especially if you combine it with the fact that you had a pleasant interaction with Sokola at the beginning, it doesn't mean doesn't mean anything necessarily, but you definitely made yourself vulnerable in that moment. And I would say that is towards the goal of not being alone. I think you could have been much ruder or more like standoffish. You could have been like, I don't want to shop with you. Like you didn't, you chose to be good and pleasant in that moment. And yeah, I would say. Awesome. I would say you get a decrease on that. Cool. So yeah, the ZZ, that would be ZZ. Let's see. You got so you didn't work on the knife holster this session, or did you? Did you work, did we say you kind of started work on it?
I mean, I did, at the beginning, like I was talking to our friend, Sayak. About like, I feel like we probably had some talks about like inspiration, about design, since we were talking about knives.
Yeah.
I was admiring his braids.
Yeah, I would say so.
I saw a lot of cool stuff that I was like, maybe I could incorporate this. So I'm like in inspiration phase. I don't know if that.
To the Jump says ZZ learned about knife head, so.
Yes, knife head. Yes. But I mean that makes sense. You talked to Sayak about it. You got some ideas. He gave he gave some suggestions. Like, and I do remember at the beginning of the session you were talking about starting the process of beginning the crafting on that, I think. So you were already looking into it, researching it. So probably, yeah, I would say you have a session down on that, and it's going to be an easy one. So you just have to get a session, one more session in and working on that. And then unarmed combat learning for Mossy is only going to take 1 session. I'm thinking about what you all did. Were you doing some of the like testing there? Not really this session, maybe.
Not really. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know that we had time.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
We were separated for our trial.
Yeah, that's true. So that one maybe not this time, but
yeah, that's fine. We'll have a lot of time in that cave.
Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah.
My cave systems.
Yeah.
Maybe I should work on my survival.
Yeah, well, admittedly, I had no idea that your survival didn't have any points in it when I set these up. I was like, yeah, they probably got some pretty good survival. It's kind of funny that ZZ is shaping up to be the... I mean, your tracking's good, right? Isn't your tracking good? Or am I misremembering? Oh, yeah, you've got a
My
bunch.
tracking is good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, no, Mossy's is also pretty
Mine's
darn
good
good.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got like a...
Yeah, so getting to where we need to go, great. Surviving, maybe not so much.
That's interesting. Yeah, that might be
But
one
also,
worth putting a
I
point in.
chose to like increase like an emotional connection versus like any other like actual physical skill. So I guess, you know, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
That's
for
what
sure.
That's what ZZ's for, is helping me stay alive, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
I like
nice
it.
to know I'm contributing something. You know?
Well, I mean, you pulled a pretty good one on getting you down the mountain. I'd say, like, between Mossy taking down a whole one of those ships by herself and ZZ like
I know.
coming in in a stitch, like just getting you down the mountain, like that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Okay.
I
So
do think, yeah, my Cougar's Grace agility goal, it has been worked on, though, I think.
I would
'Cause I was
definitely
pretty
say so.
agile
Yeah.
going down the mountain.
I did
climbing
see.
trees.
Yeah, I did see that. I don't see a session number on that one. Did we state how many sessions we thought Cougar's Grace would take to, or it's normally
I
8?
mean,
Is it normally? I think
yeah,
8 was default.
It
It was a long-term
was-
goal, yeah. So
Yeah, 8. Okay,
but
cool.
So we decided I was at about 3. So I would
Oh
be down
yeah, because you had already started work on it. Okay, so what would that would leave you this time on 5, 4? Oh, you would only have 2 left.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
'cause we
yeah,
Uh,
because she had
since
we
we were
put that
doing
as
it.
her long-term goal from the beginning. of the
Beginning.
thing,
I
yeah.
remember. Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so go ahead and put like a parentheses, like 2 sessions on there, just to track that. And yeah, and at whatever point when it won't happen this turn for either of you, I don't think, but possibly next time you'll be able to set a new goal. So I guess start thinking
Ew.
now of what at the end of next session you might want to change your short-term goals to. Because yeah, I think I think with Mossy, ZZ would be able to change next session. Mossy would still be working.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that kind of like that's it for this time. Is there any other wrap up you want to do before we sign off? Okay.
Nope, we're good.
This was cool.
Everybody who's watching, come back on Tuesday. If you're watching this on the replay before Tuesday, come back on Tuesday for the Give Big stream.
Yeah, I'll try to get those both of our. I'm behind on the other one. I'll get this one and the last one uploaded, so hopefully people will see these and catch up, because I know we get some YouTube views on these sessions. So yeah, if you're watching and you just finished this in a binge watch before Tuesday, please please come and hang out for Give Big. All right, everybody,
Our new slogan is "Surf the Mountain."
Surf the mountain.
Surf the
We need t-shirts.
mountain. Yeah, I love that. Yes. All right, bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining. It was really fun. Thank you,
Bye.
Christina.
Oh, thank you both.